You're looking at live pictures from the sidelines at Delaware Stadium. The Penguins won the toss, deferred. Will kick off here and move left to right. Let's quickly check in with Jim Evans.
Hey guys, the two teams have met 5 times previously. Delaware holds a 4-1 edge in the series. 2 memorable games in 1979, of course, the finale, which finished up 51-45. Delaware known as a shootout. They then met several weeks later in the championship game won by Delaware. But the Penguins won the last matchup here in the Henhouse in 1981, 24-21. We could have a finish similar to that one in this one today. Guys?
Thanks, Jim. Good coverage on the kick by the Penguins as Eddie Conti returns the kick 13 yards to the 22 where Delaware will start out. We had a new man kicking off for the Penguins. Tim Dreslinski, the Penguins punter a year ago, doing the honors today. Delaware coming out in their modified wing tee set, and they will Leo Hamlet at quarterback. Kai Hebron is the fullback. The halfbacks are Pat Williams and Norman Coleman, and this team is just loaded with speed. Good stutter step there, going up through the hole. Norman Coleman, he's averaging 9.5 yards a carry this year. Delaware has a lot of guys who have rushed for over 100 yards. Coleman is their leader with 266, but again, averaging 9.5 yards per carry.
Jermaine Hopkins did a nice job that time for the Penguins. If you follow the offensive guards for Delaware today, you'll find the ball. Look to the 2 people right next to the center. They'll take you to the football most of the afternoon.
The gain was about 5. It brings up 2nd and 5. Hamlet, the quarterback, and draping himself around Hamlet's ankles, a linebacker, or defensive end rather, Jermaine Hopkins, Miami, Florida. And that for Jermaine, his 16th tackle of the year, and it will be his 2nd tackle for loss. There, a look at the so-called skilled positions. Also keep your eye on Courtney Batts, an excellent wide receiver, averaging almost 22.5 yards a catch. And there are their up front people. A big offensive line with tackles in the 285, 290 range. 2-yard loss that time, brings up 3rd down, and there is that misdirection, and they get a first down to the 35-yard line with Norman Coleman. That's what you have to watch for in the Delaware offense. They make you think they're going one way, and they come back with something going the other way, and they get a first down on that play.
Well, Jim, Leon Jones followed the ball well. He stepped up into the hole, but he just missed the tackle there. Defensive front for the Penguins: Hopkins, Kahn, Jethro, Stanek in the secondary, Teague, Lewis, Panunzio, and Palucci. We have quite a few young fellas in that secondary this year.
On first down, Delaware, there's the fake to the fullback, pitch wide, 5, 10, it's a 15-yard, 20-yard gain, and then some, it's exactly 20, knocked out at the 45-yard line. Pat Williams, the senior halfback, and he is averaging over 7.5 yards a carry and has their longest offensive rushing play of the season, a 97-yarder.
Hamlet will fake the veer option. They step outside and pitch. Philip John Baptiste get caught on the inside there, and ball carrier is able to get on the outside.
The key for the Penguins defensively today is not to watch the ball, but they have keys that they look for on the offense, players that they need to watch in certain situations, and that's what they need to follow. There's the fake, the inside reverse, a good stutter step away from a tackle, but the Penguins managed to corral Pat Williams and haul him down for a 1-yard gain. That was a good job of reacting by the Penguins because, again, that Delaware offense is just full of trickery.
Well, the Penguins will have to follow the guards and that little cross key when all that misdirection action's going on in the backfield. And in talking to the coaches today, they said they were not going to penetrate because that's when Delaware breaks off the big play. So they were going to play it up and down the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 9 from the Penguins' 44. Fake to the fullback. Hamlet on the roll. Ball is caught for a 5-yard gain to the Penguins' 39. Pat Williams, only his 2nd reception of the season. His other one was a 38-yard touchdown catch.
And that was good coverage on a part of the secondary there. His quarterback rolled. Hamlet rolled to the outside here. Leon Jones, number 50 there. You'll see him come into the picture and attempt to get contained on the quarterback. And he's just able to put that little out pattern there. Another 3rd down situation for the Penguins.
3rd and 4. That's Pat Williams in motion. Takes the pitch from Hamlet. Penguins have got it stretched out, and he will not get the first down. Good job on the far side by the Penguin defense, holding Williams about at least 3 yards short of what he needed for the first down. In fact, it looks like they may mark it right at the line of scrimmage. And no gain for Pat Williams, and the Penguins defense has held on its first stand of the afternoon.
Well, Jim, at this position on the field, I'd be concerned with the fake punt here. Philip Jean-Baptiste, number 51 on the last play, did an outstanding job defensively for the Penguins. Penguins are operating out of a 5-man front.
Punter is Scott White, averaging just under 33 yards a kick this season. Kick is away, a low liner away from the deep man Jabari Teague, and rolling to a stop at just outside the 15-yard line, almost the 16. So the Penguins get a little bit of a break there, as Delaware did not do the best job it could of getting good field position. The Penguins will start from their own 16 when we come back in a scoreless ball game on TV 27. Squared away for the Penguins' first offensive series, and this will be as much of a key as their defensive stand. Can the offense start moving the ball with any consistency? And we will find out on this warm, overcast, but very pleasant day in Newark, Delaware. Mark Brungard under center. Runs a play-action fake, a bootleg to the left side, out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. A nice opening play for the Penguins as they went into Delaware's book with some misdirection on a bootleg.
Good job there on the part of the fake with Mark Brungard. He'll reverse pivot out, fake to his fullback there, and just keep the ball off that left side. Good job of running there.
By the way, you'll see a new number in the Penguins' backfield today when they set up. Number 41 is freshman Jake Andriadis. Out of Cincinnati Anderson, recruited as a defensive back, and he is the starting tailback today. And also number 32 is a new fullback for the Penguins. He's not new to the team, but new to the fullback spot. Former tailback Nakia Hendricks. Jake Andriadis with his first collegiate carry and gets a first down out to the 27-yard line.
Jimmy, we're going to talk about offensive line play today. That was Matt Hogg, number 66, threw a real fine block on the linebacker. The Delaware Blue Hens are out in a 5-man front. Offensive line, what did you have? Brungard, Hendricks,
Andriadis replacing Cottom.
Okay, Smallfield, Walker, and Bracey. And on the offensive line, Jones, Jordan, 6, Hogg.
And Page. Whistle, blowing the play.
That might be a delay again.
Penguins were first and 10. But an encouraging start. They had the good gain on the misdirection, and then a nice hole in the middle of the line on the run up the middle. And Mark Brungard said earlier in the week, in regards to getting the running game started, and there's Tubby Raymond, the Delaware coach, in his 30th season here, a remarkable record for Coach Raymond. 243 career victories and a winning percentage of almost 72%. Strangely enough, though, they have not won a national title since beating the Penguins for that Division II crown in 1979. We're going to get an official's timeout. I think they have to get a clock problem squared away, and I think they may have picked up the flag because the ball isn't going to go anywhere. At any rate, where was I go? Oh, I was talking about Mark Brungard. His comments earlier in the week. The Penguins, of course, running the ball against their 3 comparable opponents, Kent, Stephen F. Austin, and McNeese State. They ran the ball well against Division II Slippery Rock, but Mark said, we don't think that Delaware has seen a team that can run the ball off tackle the way we can. Now, he didn't say the way we have, he said the way we can. It's encouraging to see that first hole open up in the middle of the line for the quick freshman tailback, Jake Andriadis.
And Jim, some of the concern for the Delaware people is the up front. They're concerned about their size. Of course, the Penguins' offensive line is about 30 pounds lighter than it was last year or the past couple of years. The Penguins have averaged right around 300 pounds a man offensive line. Good look at Mark Brungard there getting ready to go from nearby Springfield, Ohio. Played for Coach John DiRenzo out there. Did a real nice job at Springfield and has done an outstanding job here for the Penguins. Penguins out in a double wide out, slot left.
There was no penalty. It's first and 10 at the Penguins' 27. Scoreless game, just over 4 minutes old. Jake Andriadis cuts inside a block thrown by Nakia Hendricks and gets out across the 30 to the 31, a 4-yard gain for the freshman out of Cincinnati.
And number 66, Matt Hogg again for the Penguins, doing a real nice job of coming up through that hole. The ball was taken just a little bit wide. There was a little bit more of a seam on the inside. Take a look there into the Penguin huddle.
You got a good look at Andriadis there before Tim Terrell, the tight end, stepped in. He'll be out there at tight end with Jake Smallfield and Brian Terleski. Smallfield and Terleski coming back from injuries recently. This time the Penguins have two wideouts to the bottom of your screen, one up top with the eye backs. Andriadis getting it off tackle, plunges out towards the 35-yard line. Not a first down. It'll put the Penguins in 3rd and short.
But Jim, that's a good job so far. The offensive line for the Penguins is coming off real well. The move of Nakia Hendricks into the fullback position gives the Penguins just a little quicker step to that with that lead blocker up into the hole. They spent this week off on working on offensive line techniques and fundamentals, and so far it's paying off, Jim.
Delaware crowd coming to life. They spread out in their 4-3 set. Split backs for the Penguins. Jake Smallfield was the man in motion who set up on the wing. Throw out to Andriadis in the flat. Had the first down, was hit backwards, knocked out of bounds, should be just beyond the first down marker. This is going to be, now they've marked it short.
He didn't get his forward progress.
Well, the reason they didn't give him his forward progress is the same reason that it's happened to William Walker a couple of times. As you look at the defensive front, John Mastrangelo, Mark Hondrew, Mark Spinelli, John Shields. The linebackers, Jeff Gardner, leading tackler Ralph D'Angelo, and Larry McSeed, the outside linebacker. In the secondary, Darrell Green, their leader in interceptions with 3. They've also got Kenny Bailey, Dale Koshelski, and Paul Williams back there. But the reason, if he didn't get it, was that he was still churning to try and gain ground. He had not stopped his effort and was pushed back. Now, if he had just been moving forward, was hit and pushed back, they'd have given him that forward progress. But because he did not stop making the effort, he provided the impetus, and the Penguins do not get the first down. They come up short by less than a foot. And the Penguins, taking no chances here, will punt it away, putting the ball in the hands of Brad McGregor, averaging 32.7 per kick. Back to receive, Eddie Conti, averaging just under 4.5 yards a return. Even though the Penguins did not down, they made the play they had to, so really a somewhat encouraging beginning, despite the punt on its way. Snap a little high, no problem, no rush. McGregor, side angle kick taken at the 30 by Conti. Slips and falls before he reaches the 40, and they'll mark it at the 40. That's where Delaware will start. 1st and 10 with just over 9 minutes to play in the first quarter. And the Delaware crowd coming to life again. They have a powerful offense, and they'll be urging them on here in good field position.
Yeah, they have excellent field position here. That punt was only in the air about 2.8 seconds. Not a good punt there. I believe it was because of the placement of the ball on the foot, just out on the end of the foot a little bit there.
There's a timeout on the field. 9:07 to go, first quarter. Dick Hartzell and Jim Evans live from Delaware Stadium. Penguins and the Fighting Blue Hens of the University of Delaware scoreless. Little over 9 minutes to play. Delaware 1st and 10 from its own 40 in its second possession of the afternoon. Little half back around, and the Penguins clog it up. Freshman linebacker Mike Stanek there, along with All-American Leon Jones, to haul down Pat Williams for a gain of about a yard.
But Jim, in conversation with the talk was that they would have to hold up the center. That's keys to shutting down this wing T offense, so that they can't counter back up into what we call the zero hole, right over the top of the center. Here's where they're trying to go. Jethro has created a pow in there, and now you have outstanding hustle, and that's Mike standing from nearby Austin there on the play. He's done an outstanding job.
You saw number 77, Keith Bullets, the center, face down away from the play. Ball caught on his knees, the receiver Courtney Batts, so the ball is dead right there. It's at the Penguins 45, and it's a first down for Delaware.
So the Penguins will operate out of a zone defense. They operate a 5-man front, 2 linebackers, 2 corners, and 2 safeties. They drop straight back out. Safeties were on the hash mark. You'll see Hamlet step back in the pocket here. He hides the ball just a little bit, and the receivers open it right in the middle of the zone there. Excellent job on their part.
And Pat Williams did a good job of pancaking Mike Stanek, who was trying to get through. Straight ahead handoff fake. Hamlet with it instead and takes it down to the Penguins 30 and a first down.
They come out in a tight end set left. They brought the tight end to the left side, and we were short a man on that on the short side there. And I believe that Hamlet automatic that play right there at the line of scrimmage.
So 2 consecutive 15-yard gains for the Blue Hens puts them down at the Penguins 30, 1st and 10.
Tight end left, wing right. Double wing action in motion.
Hamlet pitches to Williams. Got the corner turned and bumped out of bounds at the 29. That was Norman Coleman on the carry. Pat Williams out in front was setting to make a key block, and his feet went out from under him. Now this field yesterday was dry and firm. It was sunny. As I walked across it this afternoon, it was damp. It was firm, but it was damp.
Well, you see Hamlet make the quick fake inside. He'll come down. He's forced to pitch that time. He had pressure from Stanek, came to the outside, and then Thompson did a real nice job of coming up there to drive the ball carrier out of bounds. Now they have tight end right, double wing set. They'll send motion, put him in an unbalanced formation.
Straight ahead with the fullback on 2nd and 4, and they may lose a yard on this.
Well, that was Paul Cohen did a real nice job that time of coming down from his tackle position. When Delaware goes into the unbalance, the Penguins will shift down a little bit, down a man, and then that balances things back up.
It is a yard loss. Call it 3rd and 5 from the Penguins' 25. If the Penguins hold, we'll be getting a look at Sean Leach as a place kicker, a young man who set a career record for himself in his most recent attempt. Hamlet on the roll. He's got the first down, slipped the tackle of Leon Jones, and will give Delaware a first down at the Penguins' 13. Mike Gilligan ultimately dragging him to the turf.
Jim, John Baptiste backed out. He thought it was going to be a pass. Here's the fake. This is a boot action. Baptiste backed out into the flats. He's supposed to be there to pick this up. There he comes, number 51, up on the outside. And as he backed out, it just gave up the yardage.
And that was Shannon Trostel, the 275-pound senior guard, number 67, that leveled Leon Jones to help that play go for a little more than Leon thought it would. 1st and 10, call it the 12-yard line. There's that little counter action again with Williams. He takes it to the 10, where the Penguins stack him up. Pat Williams, a 5'9", 172-pound left halfback. Again, this set uses 2 halfbacks and a fullback. They often setting the halfbacks up really as wings, hence wing T.
Wing T, the wing comes in motion. Now you see the wing set up on the left side. Now he comes back. This turns into an isolation play right out of the I formation, because he ends up behind where the fullback was to receive the ball.
Leon Jones credited with the tackle on 2nd and 8. There's the pitch. Oh, play in the secondary, in the backfield by Tom Palucci, coming up and making the hit behind the line of scrimmage on Norman Coleman, who is not used to being treated that way, I can guarantee you.
Well, Jim, we're playing a short field here right now, and Stanek was the reason for the early pitch on that play. He forced upfield. Watch Stanek here come right off his defensive linebacker position. He forces the pitch. Now he slides out to help out on the tackle, and there's 3 Penguins there. We're in a short field situation. The defensive backs aren't going to back out so far here. You got a tight end left, slot right, wing left.
3rd down and 11 from the Penguins' 13. Hamlet, straight short drop into the end zone. He's got bats, and he's out of the end zone. He caught the ball. He is out of the end zone.
That's right.
It was his own impetus that carried him out. Even though Dwayne Thompson was there, he was in the air when he caught the ball and floating out before Dwayne Thompson hit him. It will go as an incomplete pass and force Delaware to settle for a field goal attempt.
Well, Jim, he was right at the end line. He didn't have a chance to catch this football and come down inbounds. The Penguins were late on the coverage here. It's excellent call on the part of the official. He never had a chance to come down inbounds.
Sean Leach will be attempting a 30-yard field goal. His only attempt from this range this year, between 30 and 40 yards, was a miss. He's got an angle to the right. He's 3 for 5 overall this year. That one's good, and Delaware has gotten onto the scoreboard first, but the Penguins do a decent job of keeping that powerful offense in check as they had a short field to work with after the punt. But they have broken the ice and taken the lead with 5:04 to go in the first quarter. It's Delaware 3, YSU nothing on TV 27. A look at the crowd, some of which is Youngstown State. Although this is the home side you're looking at. We're up above there. Look at the Delaware bench as Sean Leach, who just kicked the 30-yard field goal to put the Blue Hens on the board, gets ready to kick off. There's the visitor side, and you see that block of red in the lower right of your screen. Those are Youngstown State fans. Leach kicking, coming up short. Nakia Hendricks at about the 17. Into the wedge, 30. Out across the 35 to the 37. Nakia Hendricks taking the short kickoff, and the Penguins start this drive with good field position, comparable to what the Blue Hens started their drive with.
One thing that the Penguins do on kickoff returns is they have a lot of backs and linebackers in there so that actually anyone can pick up the ball and run with it. They try to work off of a hash mark all the time, and that was a good job. Another nice look into the Penguins huddle. There's a get ready with excellent field position here.
And Brian Cottom has checked in at tailback, another freshman out of Pennsylvania, averaging just over 4.5 yards a carry. Jake Andriadis also in the lineup, and he is stuffed as he tries to move into the middle of the line. And I believe that was Nakia Hendricks still in there. I thought I picked up 22, but it was 32, and Jake Andriadis is stopped for a gain of 1 that time. Let's give you the officials for today's game, too. They come out of the East Coast Athletic Conference as you take another look at the play with Andriadis getting it and leading tacker Ralph D'Angelo right there to help stuff it, number 58. The referee is Robert Lynch. Joseph Antonacci is the umpire. The head linesman Lawrence Marino. Paul Zontek is the line judge, back judge Mark McEnany, and the field judge is Brian Sullivan. Again, they are out of the ECAC. Brungard to throw, a lot of time, and a nice catch by William Walker. Hit at midfield immediately by Dale Koszelski, but the Penguins have themselves a first down.
Jim, that was an outstanding reception. The ball was thrown behind Walker, and one of the keys when a ball is thrown behind you, you need to reverse pivot. This is beautiful. Actually, that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage as it came over the lineman, so Walker made a great adjustment to that.
Just across midfield, William is among the nation's leaders in pass receptions. He's averaging 18.6 yards a catch. That was his 21st catch of the year. 11 yards to midfield and a Penguins first down. 3:45 to go, first quarter, play action. Brungard throwing. He has got his man on the far side of the field. Number 5. I think we may have a number change because I know for a fact that Don Zwissler isn't playing for us anymore. Mark Cox,
wide receiver,
is in there.
That's a good job, Jim. One of the things that's happened now, you see Mark drop it back in the pocket here, just a little bit of a fake, which holds the lineman, and that ball was tipped also coming out of there. One thing Delaware linemen do is they get their hands up, which definitely creates a problem for the passers.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Andriadis looking for a running room over the tackle, is going to be piled up near, but I think just short of the marker. So it'll be 3rd and short, and Delaware beginning to react out of those off-tackle holes a little bit.
Well, they have an excellent front 4, and their defensive ends do a real nice job of putting pressure upfield. And one of the things that the Penguins can do just a little bit of is split the offensive line just a tiny bit to get a little more running room in there.
3rd and inches for the Penguins from the Delaware 40. Mark Brungard launches himself over the top of the line of scrimmage, and the Penguins will have a first down at the Delaware 39-yard line. By the way, Mark Cox, the receiver who caught the first down pass on this second down pass on this series, is from East Palestine, another local guy and another youngster getting a chance to make an impact in this football game.
Check Steve Six as he came through. He's the offensive center for the Penguins. Did a real nice job that time of coming off the ball, and then all Mark had to do was, as Jim said, he just launched himself. That's a successful launch.
There's the fighting Blue Hen in a fighting mood after that. 1st and 10 Penguins from the Delaware 39. Andriadis to the left side, good stutter step. He's down inside the 30 and looks like he has another Penguins first down, and we've got a Delaware player down outside the 40-yard line as the Penguins celebrate there. Larry McSeed, starting outside linebacker from Philadelphia, he is down. That's McSeed right there. He came into today a very active player with 18 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks and an interception. And there's Jake Andriadis getting outside the defense.
Well, it was a great block in there that time by Matt Hogg, number 66. He's having an outstanding ball game, a sophomore for the Penguins here. As Andreadis came up into the off-tackle hole, he just bounced to the outside. The defensive end was turned in. That looks like a little shoulder problem there.
1st and 10 Penguins, Delaware 39. Mark Cox, his helmet just disappearing at the bottom of your screen, is the Penguins' only wideout in the 2 tight end set. Nakia Hendricks and Jake Andreadis, the running backs. Andreadis looking for running room behind Hendricks and his offensive line inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. The Penguins will be 2nd and 4. This young freshman, who until the week before the McNeese State game was a defensive back, is having quite a collegiate debut.
Well, that's what Coach Tressel said. He was going to kind of work him in. It looks like he definitely worked him in and worked him in well. The thing that we saw there again was the double tight end formation, which the Penguins have made famous over the last 5 years with the smash mouth football.
They're going to do it again. This time William Walker is the lone wideout, and he is up at the top of the formation. Little blitz action coming. And Nakia Hendricks got the football over the tackle, down inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. And the Penguins look very much like the Penguins offense, as Dick just alluded to, that we have become so accustomed to seeing. Watch the blocking up front.
Number 70 is Frank Page. Did an outstanding job that time of coming off the ball. 6'4", 250-pounder. And Nakia Hendricks out of Hubbard, Ohio. An excellent running back. Had major knee surgery last year and has come back from that real well.
Credit, too, to number 72, Heath Jordan, who got in on the block there to help free up Nakia. Jake Andreadis behind Hendricks, and Jordan again down to about the 15-yard line, gain of a couple. Jordan is a 250-pound redshirt freshman from St. Clairsville. Hendricks, of course, a junior running back out of Hubbard, and until today, Nakia was only averaging about 2.5 yards a carry out of the tailback spot. He looks much better out of the fullback spot.
Well, Jim, Ralph D'Angelo, the middle linebacker for the Blue Hens, is an outstanding football player. He moves, he slides in behind that college 4-3 front, and he moves to the hole well. He's been in almost every tackle this afternoon.
2nd and 8. Time is running out in the first quarter, and we will not get another play. The first quarter has come to an end with the Penguins sitting on the Blue Hens front porch. Jim Campbell, Dick Hartzell, and Dick Evans back with you live from Delaware Stadium. This free telecast for the private use of WKBN TV 27 viewers. Any reproduction or other broadcast or paid admission for this telecast is forbidden. Without WKBN Broadcasting Corporation, the exclusive rights for this telecast are the property of WKBN TV, is contracted with Youngstown State University. 2nd and 8, Penguins at the Delaware 15. First play of the second quarter. Mark Brungard on the keep and takes it down about a yard short of the first down.
But Jim, that's the option off that of course, the tight side. Because Penguins have double tight ends. It's just a quick run down the line of scrimmage looking for the pitch, and the hole just opened up at that. When he arrived at the off-tackle hole, it was open. He was able to turn upfield and just run with the football there. He had a good block out of Sean Bilker.
7-yard pickup, another 3rd and short for YSU. At the Delaware 8-yard line. Second quarter just underway. Delaware leading 3-0. They kicked a 30-yard field goal at this end a few minutes ago.
It's a 9-man front, 10-man front for Delaware. If this breaks, it's gone.
And Mark checked off at the line. He goes in behind the left side offensive line, gets a little surge, and he should have the first down easily. Well, maybe not so easily, but it looks to me the way they have it marked that it should be a first down. They're just inside the 7, and the mark is outside the 7.
Jim, Delaware had 10 people within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage on that play to stop that short yardage.
Yeah, I can do something.
The offensive line of the Penguins is coming off the ball well here.
Now, this is encouraging because that's the kind of situation that they've struggled with, getting those short yardage situations, and they've converted 3 of them on this drive. Split backs this time. Again, only a 1 wideout set. William Walker off the bottom of your screen. Jake Andreadis, good hole over the right side, dives inside the 5, down close to the 3-yard line. They're going to mark it nearer the 4.
Well, that's Ralph D'Angelo that time, and Gardner in there, number 46 for the Blue Hens, doing a nice job. And Andreadis is doing an excellent job of hitting the holes and going right up into the line.
Let's check in with Jim Evans on the sidelines. Jim?
Well, guys, you know, one way to stop that explosive Delaware offense is to keep the ball out of their hands, and that's exactly what the offense is doing. They're doing a great job up front, as Coach has alluded to. The defense is doing the job. They've had an extra week to prepare. They're 8-1 when they have off a bye week under Coach Tressel.
Jake Andreadis piled up for no gain. Thanks, Jim. And the Penguins now will be 3rd and goal from closer to the 5. Maybe a loss of a half a yard on that carry by the freshman.
Well, that time it was Jeff Gardner coming up inside doing a real nice job. Here you'll see Gardner, number 46, come into the picture. He's an outside linebacker, did a real fine job that time of staying square and playing up.
Gardner with 32 tackles in the Blue Hens 4 games. It is 3rd and goal for the Penguins just inside the Delaware 5-yard line. Delaware leading 3-0, 12.5 to play in the first half. William Walker in motion. Mark Brungard bumped into his pulling offenseman and lost the football, and that has been the Penguins' problem this season. They cannot hold on to the football in the red zone. Delaware has been terrific at creating red zone turnovers. The Penguins created that when it was Nakia Hendricks that Mark Brungard ran into and then had the ball stripped away by Dennis Hume. And Delaware takes over at the 11-yard line.
Well, Hume was, again, he's the defensive end on that side, came right across the line of scrimmage and popped the ball out. Penguins had a tremendous opportunity there. That's a tough play.
So Delaware now trying to smash mouth itself up the middle, and not much happening there. The Penguins defense responding quickly to that carry.
Yeah, that was Mike Stanek that came down inside. There's Coach Tressel on the sideline, just a little disappointed in that last carry there, last situation that developed there. Jim, his tie looks exactly like yours, with those penguins all over. That's a good-looking tie.
I told him at the hotel this morning, just as we started. Good coach, nice tie. He agreed. Fake to the fullback. There's the option pitch. Well covered by the Penguins. Eugene Lewis, first man there to turn it in, and then he got help from Mike Stanek and others. But the Penguins recognizing that option well most of the time today. They've busted it a couple of times, but in general, they've done a good job recognizing it, and they've got Delaware in a 3rd and long here at the 15.
You'll see Stanek come into the picture, number 38 out of Austintown Fitch, doing a real fine job defensively for the Penguins. Also, Eugene Lewis did a great job. Came up and made the first hit. Stanek was the follow-up.
On 3rd down, play action. Hamlet keeping. He's hit and dropped short of the first down. And knifing in underneath, Paul Kahn, the senior defensive tackle from Mansfield. Believe it or not, Kahn has been very limited. I don't even have his tackles listed on our board here because he's been so limited because of injuries. Coach Tressel liking his defensive effort very much there, and here's a look at it.
You'll see Kahn and Stanek. Kahn's number 99. He plays off the block. He'll come down inside. And is the first hit. Kahn is the second hit. Outstanding job. And Andre Jethro coming into that off tackle hole as the Hens line up for the punt.
A little bit of a high snap. Penguins were coming and then backed off. This is a boomer driving Jabari Teague back to about the 32. Slipped for a moment. Then is hit at the 38 and driven back. They'll mark his forward progress up close to the 39. A terrific punt that time by Scott White. Penguins will get the ball. 10:24 to go in the first half. Delaware still leading 3-0 on TB 27. That's where we are, the University of Delaware, and they pronounce it Newark. I found that out last night. I always thought it was Newark, like in New Jersey, but it's Newark, New Jersey. Mark Brungard getting ready to take the snap. Penguins 1st and 10 from their own 39, still trailing 3-0 after a turnover in the red zone. The defense forcing Delaware into a 3-and-out, though. Another fumble. Good penetration. This time the Penguins will cover it, and once again it was Dennis Hume who was there to make the play.
Yeah, Mark had a problem that as he came down the line of scrimmage there, Hume applied the pressure just a little quicker than he was ready for. He made the reverse pivot out. He'll step right down the line of scrimmage here. He was just getting ready to pitch as Hume grabbed a hold of him.
And Brian Cottam, who is tailback, is the young man who covered the football. And unfortunately for Brian, what happens is they take that off his rushing yardage. Now they're wiping the play out. Had somebody called? Oh, there was a penalty against Delaware.
Offside against the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Penguins get a break. Instead of being back inside the 25, 2nd and long, it's 1st and 5 at the 44, thanks to the Delaware miscue. I missed the flag altogether in the impending disaster there.
That young fella had a pretty good-looking D on his chest there for Delaware.
So it is 1st and 5 for the Penguins now from their own 44. Last two offensive plays, however, have been Mark Brungard fumbles. Brian Cottom, a little tentative going into the hole and gets about a yard for his trouble. Cottom is a freshman out of Leesdale, Pennsylvania. We talked about him briefly earlier when I mistakenly thought he had checked into the ball game. He has accelerated his involvement in the offense because of the great ball game he had against Slippery Rock when both he and Nolan Moore rushed for over 100 yards.
Yeah, Mark Spinella for the Blue Hens did a nice job that time of applying pressure. They shut that one down.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 4. Dan Inglis is in at fullback. There's the fake to the tailback. Brungard, they sniffed that one out. No problem finding Mark Brungard that time by the Delaware defense. They were all over that play, and the Penguins will be 3rd and about 6.
Well, that time it was, you had Hume. Was it Hume that came up on the outside?
Mike Berge and Dennis Hume.
Dennis Hume. Well, those two fellows are staying at home. They're not going to get caught on that boot. I think, Jim,
well, one of them staying at Hume, if you don't mind. It's third.
He stayed Hume.
It's 3rd down and 5 for the Penguins. They have not looked good on this drive at all. The Delaware defense has. Intended for Walker, overthrown, may have been tipped by Dale Koszelski, and the Penguins go 3 and out. Could not convert on a 1st and 5 situation.
Well, the Penguin punt game right now becomes very important. As at this point in time, we need a good punt out of Brad McGregor here.
There is no wind to speak of here. A light breeze, if any, possibly in Brad's face. Pretty decent snap, pretty good rush, except the outside guys slip. McGregor gets off a poor kick that only goes to the Delaware 44. That's going to be about a 12-yard net punt for Brad McGregor, and the Penguins set Delaware up with excellent field position. And we will pick up Delaware's next offensive drive when we return. The Blue Hens leading 3-0. Delaware 1st and 10 from its own 44. This is a game they've been pointing to. They were a little concerned about whether they would be able to play with the physicalness that YSU brings, but they have been a match most of the day. Hamlet throwing, intercepted. The Penguins have the pick. They got good pressure from Paul Kahn, and it is Eugene Lewis with his first collegiate interception to give the ball back to the Penguins at their own 9, and that ends a string of 9 quarters for Delaware without a turnover.
Well, you had heavy pressure from Mike Stanek and Paul Kahn. The ball was thrown inside. Lewis stayed in his zone and then went right to the football as it was released. All they do is they drop back out of there, watch the quarterback as they drop into their zone. He releases the ball, they go right to the football. There's a lot of Penguin fans here today, and there was a couple that tried to get here. Dan O'Connell's wife, Susan O'Connell, and Mary Beth Mincy. They left at 4 a.m. this morning. And I guess it was the Albatross Airlines that didn't have a flight going out of Pittsburgh, so they didn't get here that they wanted to be here today.
Dan Inglis getting the carry out of the fullback spot, and again the Delaware defense is all over it. By the way, that interception thrown by Leo Hamlet, his first of the season. What we are seeing here today in the offense, in addition to a fine first quarter effort by the freshman Jake Andriadis in his collegiate debut, the Penguins are giving the ball to the fullback a little bit. That has not been a much utilized position in terms of ball carrying so far this season, and both Nakia Hendricks and now Dan Inglis have had several carries already today. That one went for no gain, 2nd and 10, and Mark Brungard, it's a screen, Andriadis out to the 45 to the 48-yard line, and the Penguins will be in a 3rd and short, and we'll see now if they can reestablish their dominance on the line of scrimmage.
Jim, we're seeing an outstanding linebacker job by Ralph D'Angelo, number 58 for the Blue Hens. This guy's been all over the field in this first half, just playing some great football. That was a nice screen pass set up, and D'Angelo got there to make the hit on the play.
3rd and 1. D'Angelo, their leading tackler, coming in with 37. This team is well balanced both offensively and defensively. They have a lot of outstanding athletes. They've got virtually everybody up within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage, anticipating perhaps this. Penalty marker down. Andriadis was bottled up behind the line of scrimmage, managed to turn his body and squirt into a little hole that got into midfield, but where that flag is, it looks to me like the Penguins will be whistled, and there it is. A motion penalty that will set them back, and instead of 3rd and 1, they will have 3rd and...
Well, that time freshman Heath Jordan, number 72 there, got he got caught up in the backfield. Watch 72 right here. We run right into him. And Viedish ran right into him on the play.
He did a nice job he did, though, of keeping his feet moving as best he could, and then turning
illegal
sideways.
formation against the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And that got him into what little hole was there, and had there not been a penalty, we're looking at a Penguin 1st down at midfield. Instead, 3rd and 6 from their own 43. A very encouraging first quarter on offense, negated by a fumble down in the red zone, and so far in the second quarter, the offense has gone back to its former ways, quite frankly. Play action, another flag down. William Walker has the football at the 30, but this one will come back.
Jim, I believe it was Walker in the slot position that leaned forward. He missed. He didn't hear the count there by Mark, and he just took off a little bit early, so that one's going to come back and pick up another 5-yard penalty here. It's illegal procedure on the part of the Penguins. Brungard steps back in the pocket. It's a post pattern. Well-thrown ball, but the gentleman who got the ball, William Walker, is the gentleman who was also leaning forward on the play.
Well, the Penguins now have spit 2 first downs out.
Delaware is bringing in some fresh linemen.
Illegal motion against the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Delaware is bringing in some fresh defensive linemen. Mike Berge came in as one of the defensive tackles, assuming the Penguins are going to throw the football here.
3rd and actually a little more than 10. Lots of time for Brungard. Throwing for Mark Cox. Bumped into the defender, Darrell Green. No penalty. And the Penguins give up 2 first downs via penalty and are forced to punt it away. The Delaware fans giving their defense a hand, but the fact is they didn't do the job that time. The Penguins shot themselves in the foot, and here in their last 3 possessions, they're going to run out of toes if they keep doing that.
Yeah, Jim, again, we need a good punt here because we're kind of backing up right now.
We'll pass along some other college scores for you as we get an opportunity here. We have a big sheet of them just handed to us. Gregor with somebody in his face gets off a high short punt taken by Conti. He may be gone. Another big play given up by the Penguins special teams. The sad thing about that is Philip Jean-Baptiste was in position to make the tackle, and he slipped on this apparently still damp turf, and that's what allowed Eddie Conti to break free and score the touchdown.
Well, Jim, the punt was in the air about 2.6 seconds. It allowed Delaware to get set up ahead of the Penguin coverage coming down the field. The ball's just not being punted high enough there. You had pressure. Jethro was down there to help out on the tackle and wasn't able to get there. That was Jermaine Hopkins down there.
About a 70-yard return, thereabouts. Extra point is good, and so the Penguins have fumbled away a possible touchdown or field goal, given up a couple key first downs on penalties, and give up a punt return for a touchdown, and now with catch Coach Raymond going off first, right? Penguins getting ready to receive the football after allowing a long punt return for a touchdown and finding themselves trailing 10-0. A couple other scores around the country. Ohio State leading Penn State 14-10 at halftime. Michigan a 6-3 second quarter lead on Northwestern, also out of the Big Ten. Michigan State leading 7-6 going to the fourth quarter. Indiana and Illinois tied at 3 in the second quarter. At kickoff, Tom Palucci touched it at the goal line. He has to come out, and he's going to be knocked down at the 10-yard line.
Well, Jim, very uncharacteristically on the part of the Penguins is the breakdown in the kick game here. We've had problems on 3 punts, which created the touchdown there with the punt return, and here on the kickoff return.
2 other scores of possible interest out of the Mid-American Conference this afternoon. Miami leading Bowling Green 14-0 in the second quarter, and Western Michigan leading future YSU foe Akron 7-0 going to the second quarter. And I'm looking for Division I AA ranked teams playing. Appalachian State number 2 leading Furman 7-0. Penguins trying to fight their way out with the running game. Jake Andriadis out close to the 13 or 14-yard line. A long ways away now.
Well, that time they came in behind Heath Jordan on the right guard, and Jim Jones trying to make a little bit of headway there. That defensive line with Mark Spinella is doing a real nice job there for the Blue Hens.
A couple other 1AA scores. UMass trailing New Hampshire 18-3 in the second quarter. Northeastern leading Richmond 7-0 second quarter. Villanova and Connecticut tied 7-7 in the second. William and Mary leading Rhode Island 10-0 in the second. James Madison over Boston U early in that game. Delaware defense all over the Penguins offense that time. Mark Brungard with nowhere to go, and coming up to make the play, Paul Williams, senior cornerback, a homegrown product from Newark, Delaware.
Well, Jim, you want to talk about linebackers that are staying home. Delaware's not getting caught at all on any type of boot action, a reverse pivot. They're just sitting there. Look at the Penguin offensive line.
4-yard loss. Number 39, Josh Mastrangelo, was one of the key guys there. Third down.
There he is.
Over the middle. Jake Smallfield with the catch. Breaks 2 tackles out across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Jake, who's been slowed by an injury, taking a good pop in the Slippery Rock game, breaks free on his touch of the season all the way out to the 33, a 23-yard pickup and a first down for the Penguins.
This is a good job. Brungard will drop back in the pocket here. They caught him in a 2-deep zone situation, and Jake just split the 2 safeties there, and he was wide open. That was a tremendous play for the Penguins there because they didn't have to punt the ball.
Less than 4 minutes to go in the first half. Delaware leading 10-0. Andriadis looking for a hole, finds a small seam out to the 35, gain of about 2 yards. A reminder, you can see highlights of today's game and every game on the Penguin schedule by joining me and Coach Tressel for Penguin Profile Sunday nights at 6:30. It's, of course, right here on TV 27.
And you fellas do a good job on that. I enjoyed that show.
I want to pass along kudos to the gentleman who co-produces the show with me and shoots all our ground level video and does all the editing, Kerry Kimmerer. He's hard at work this afternoon. And of course, we've got a great crew back at the station that does all the camera work, studio camera work, and the switching. Good set design involved in the production department. I like it. 2nd and 8. I'll have stretch marks on my elbow from patting myself on the back now. Andriadis with just a determined run. There wasn't much there. He made the best of what he had and gained about 3. Penguins will be in a 3rd and 5.
Well, truthfully, in this first half, the Penguins have played well on defense. They have played. They've played very well on offense. It's just been. It was the fumble on the first drive down there that. Otherwise, this ball game is a 10-7 game.
It's actually about 3rd and 4. Ball at the 39-yard line.
That's a long 4.
Jake Smallfield in motion there. Mark Brungard in the pocket, throws too far in front of William Walker, who was running the slant against Paul Williams, and the Penguins will be forced to kick it away. And their offensive woes in terms of putting points on the board continue. They, of course, have been shut out by Stephen F. Austin. They failed to score a touchdown against McNeese State, and they have not put up any points here at Delaware this afternoon.
Drzlinski punting this time. There's a switch here. Tim Drzlinski, who was the punter last year, has been out, and this is his first ball game back.
And he lifts a high, short, wobbly kick that isn't going to turn out very well unless it really starts to bounce. Tim Terrell almost had it hit him in the back. Penguins cover it at the 34-yard line. So Delaware, with 2:12 to go, the type of offense it has, that's pretty good field position for them. It's almost a short field for them. The Penguins really need to tighten the screw on defense to avoid getting into a deeper hole before halftime.
Truthfully, Jim, the Penguins' defense has played very well today. They've done an excellent job in this first half.
Running the option, good blocking up front. Chasing it down from behind, another Penguin who has returned from injury problems, Tom Dillingham, knocking Leo Hamlet out of bounds up across the 40-yard line. Be short of a first down. They'll mark it just across the 41, almost the 42. So it'll be second down and almost 3.
Well, as this play started to develop, Leon Jones, inside linebacker, the Penguins got picked off there as he came down the line to make the play.
Hamlet with the ball again. Big seam, midfield, runs into Dwayne Thompson, put his helmet right into those ribs that Dwayne had hurt in the opener and caused him to miss a couple of games. It's a first down for Delaware at the Penguins' 48-yard line.
Well, the pressure that time was to come from Mike Stanek, number 38. He got a little too far inside, and then he had to come from the inside out to try to make the hit on the quarterback here.
No huddle for Delaware. First and 10 from the Penguins' 48 with 1:47 to go in the half. Hamlet in the grasp as he throws. Incomplete. It was Jermaine Hopkins who got back, and Tom Dillingham was in the neighborhood, but it forced Hamlet to get rid of the ball a little quicker than he wanted to, and he really threw it down into the turf. He really didn't have any post that had a shot at getting that football. It'll be second and 10.
Sure, that time by the up front people, you have Con, Jethro, and Hopkins on the inside, Stanek and Baptiste on the outside at the linebacker positions.
Good look there at Leo Hamlet, junior quarterback. Deep drop. Hopkins slips and falls. Penalty marker down. This should be a hold. Pass is complete. Tony Panunzio immediately hitting the receiver, halfback Pat Williams. But where that flag is thrown, it should be and is a holding penalty against Delaware. So they give away a first down.
Well, I think it's the holding call here is they're holding Paul Cohn here, number 99, for the Penguins.
What a stick by Tony Panunzio, though.
Well, that's what they were talking about here before, whether they've been hit like this so far this season.
It's strange. These teams have not played since 1981. The guys that are on the field now were 3, 4, and 5 years old, and yet this is a huge game at the University of Delaware simply because of the Penguin status as a defending national champ and the team of the 90s in Division I AA. And they say they are not fooled by the Penguins' 1-3 record. They expected to have a real test here today, and so far take away the Penguins' mistakes and it would be a much sterner test than what the scoreboard indicates it is.
Oh yeah, it's just been the turnover and the bad punts. Other than that, the Penguins are in this ball game. Possibly they should be leading the ball game 7-3, truthfully.
Second and 24 for Delaware, now back at their own 38 after the holding penalty. Penguins have got a rush. Andre Jethro got to Hamlet, who lost the ball, but I think they're going to rule he was down. In any case, I think Delaware covered it. There's still a scramble, but I think they've already marked it. Andre Jethro, the guy we keyed at the beginning of the ball game, came straight through, almost unblocked.
Here's Jethro right here coming up inside, number 40, right there on the jump. Excellent job. Excellent pressure. The Penguins were rushing 4 that time, and I'm not sure if we took a timeout. I believe we did, Jim.
Well, there is a timeout on the field.
We need to make a punt. We need to come after a punt here and try to get a block. We need to force this punt.
That was Andre Jethro's second sack of the season. And it was good for an 11-yard loss on top of it. Penguins leading 10-0. And while we're on the subject of football, why settle for football just on weekends? You can enjoy the game atmosphere of Coach. That's weeknights at 7:30 right here on TV 27.
And they have third and about 3.5 miles here. Actually, it's 33 yards or 34 yards is what they're looking at.
And 54 seconds to go before halftime. Penguins' next challenge will be an interesting one, as it will be a meeting of defending champions. They host Central Michigan, YSU, of course, the defending Division I AA national champ, and Central Michigan, the defending Mid-American Conference champ. And like YSU, Central Michigan has had its struggles this season. They actually got off to a good start. They got a win over Bowling Green, I believe, but then lost to Akron. A real disappointment for them. And of course, Akron's coming up on the Penguins schedule as well. Hamlet on the option. He is tripped up and dropped. Andre Jethro and Jermaine Hopkins were there again to drop Hamlet for a loss, and the Penguins call their second timeout. They will have, after the punt, somewhere between 35 and 40 seconds unless they fair catch it.
Jim, this
a little more than that.
This is good strategy. We have an opportunity here to, one, go after the block on the kick. They had a high snap the first time. We're dealing with a three-step punter, so we have an opportunity to catch that. If we don't, there's time on the clock to run the 2-minute offense. Possibly get down and pick up a field goal or get a score here before the half. That'll change the momentum of this ball game.
It'll be 4th and 34 coming up at halftime. To stick around, because TV 27's First News will be giving you an update on the day's events. Jim Evans will be tracking down, we hope, a special halftime interview. Jim Tressel pacing the sidelines. That's to his left there in the red and black jacket, Mike Cochran, former linebacker with the Penguins, and turned into a pretty good coach. Comes out of a pretty good athletic family with a good history out of Girard.
He's one of the finest young men you could possibly bump into. And, you know, in this college atmosphere and handling all the details that he does an excellent job for the Penguins.
Penguins have got 10 up. They're coming after this one. A little bit of a low snap. Punt is away nicely. Jabari Teague backs up, takes it at the 27. Good coverage. Out to about the 35, and down he goes. Penguins will have 5 seconds to move from their own 35 into scoring territory.
Well, I would believe that the Penguins would set up the fly pattern on the outside would go to Walker, or the post pattern, just take it straight down the middle to pick up some yardage quickly. And Delaware really hasn't put a lot of pressure on Brungard back in the pocket when he drops back on that 7-step drop.
Story about Mike Cochran, who we were just talking to a bit ago. I sat next to him on the bus coming over from the hotel, and he said he had the same jitters as he would as a player, maybe more so, because you don't have any control as a coach. You can't get out there and hit anybody, which is something Mike was good at. Brungard, he's airing it out for William Walker. The ball is there and dropped, and William had a tough catch there, because just as the ball arrived, Jamie Bell came over and reached in. I don't know if he touched the ball at all, but he got a hand up, and I'm sure he distracted William Walker, although it hit William in the hands. I think what it did, it bounced off his hands and then off his chest, but that ball was there. Not a bad throw at all by Mark Brungard. Watch it. Let's see if number 29 coming in from the upper part of the picture gets a hand in right.
Yes, he
there.
did.
It was actually batted to William Walker, who could not hold on to the deflection. So it's 2nd and 10.
That's outstanding coverage on the part of the crew here. That's excellent camera work.
And it may have actually been Dale Koscielski who got his hand on the ball.
There he is again inside.
Good protection. Throw over the middle. Mark Cox with the football. They need to use their last time out here, I think. 18 seconds. The clock stopped. They'll go no huddle because the clock is stopped while the chains are advanced for the first down.
Well, I don't think they're going to use the timeout yet. They want to save that for a field goal here, a field goal opportunity. 1st and 10 from the Delaware 41. Play action, throw out, bounces into Mark Cox at the 35. That'll stop the clock with seconds to go. Now what you will see, because this is obviously well out of anybody's field goal range, they will probably try and, if not go for it all, try and get something down inside the 15, I would think, and give yourself a chance to kick a 25 or a 30-yard field goal. Now the Penguins are going to use that last time out, which tells me forget the field goal. They're going for 6. Well, they have the Hail Mary play that they use, so I would imagine they're going to put 3 receivers on one side and take 2 shots at the end zone here. because you'll have enough time. There's probably, when this play's over, there'll be 2 or 3 seconds left on the clock, so they'll have enough time to do it twice.
Right, and they're only in a second down situation here, so there's no way that downs are a factor. So they're going to go for it all, apparently, because there won't be any time to just settle for 3, and down 10-0. 7 would certainly look better than 3 anyway, and you need kind of to make a statement. Another good here, which we thought just before game time might be a little disappointing with all the buildup this game has gotten, but it's going to be pretty decent. They say that Delaware Stadium in its current configuration holds about 23,000, and Dick, I would say now looking at it compared to what we saw earlier, I would have to say they've got a chance to do business with, what, 16, 17, 18,000 people maybe.
Somewhere around there. That other side filled up pretty good.
Sure did.
The side that all the red and whites on with the Penguins.
They average between 15 and 16,000 a game here at UD.
3-man rush.
A lot of time for Mark. Into the middle, he's got William Walker. Walker to the 15, and now they can't stop the clock. It's a first down, but they've got... And they couldn't do anything with the field position because they used their last timeout to call that play. So the Penguins twice get down into the red zone. Twice they come up empty. Once because, now wait a minute, now they may put a second back on the clock because the clock has to stop when the chains move for the first down. The question now is, can Mark down the ball quickly? And they're just going to kick the field goal with 1 second on the clock. Penguins get a little break. Officials are going to call a timeout. Delaware calls a timeout because they need to get their kick defense on the field. The Penguins get something rare.
That's
a break from the officials on the road.
What a job. Now that's outstanding because it's Delaware has the timeout. Brungard has time to set the kick team, and a perfect shot. This is straight down the middle and get back in this ball game. This helps out with the momentum here.
If you get the field goal.
Yes, sir.
The ball will come off the foot of John Dorma, and Dorma is Paul Massero is trotting out. So we get another change in the kicking game. John Dorma has been 1 for 5 this season on field goals. Paul Massero was the Penguins' place kicker last year, overcame a rocky start to finish well, lost the job to Dorma in preseason, lost his kickoff job to Tim Grzelczynski, and is now back place kicker. Delaware calling another timeout. They didn't have enough people on the field, or they still had the wrong people on the field.
10. They're short 1 guy. Now that'll fire up the head coach. I guarantee it.
This will be 31-yard attempt.
Still have 10 guys on the field. They sit down. Here comes D'Angelo, the inside linebacker, is coming back out.
Well, this is certainly a bizarre ending to the first half, regardless of whether the Penguins get the field goal or not.
Well, I hope we get the field goal here and get a few points on the board at least, because overall the Penguins have played well.
They possibly perturbed Tubby Raymond, having to call consecutive timeouts to get a field goal defense unit on the field, although the timeouts certainly aren't a factor because this is going to be the last play of the half. Nobody is going to need a timeout after this. So here we go, lining up for the 3rd time with 1 second on the clock. Call this now a 32-yard field goal attempt straight away for Paul Massero of Niles. Good snap. Ball is a little short, hit the upright.
Tough break for the Penguins.
The scoring gods are not working with the Penguins this season
at all. My,
they've gone without a touchdown now 6 straight quarters and trail at Delaware 10-0. It could easily be a 10-10 ball game or even a 10-3 Penguins lead. We are waiting for Jim Evans to catch up with Delaware head coach Tubby Raymond before we take our first halftime break. There you see the Penguins leaving on the far side of the field. Evans has Coach Raymond. Jim, what do you got?
With me right now, head coach Tubby Raymond of the Blue Hens. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, there's an awful lot of mistakes by everybody. They're available for everybody, and we've all been making them. It's been a very sloppy ball game. We have some things we think we can do. Our defense made some mistakes. We had that holding penalty down in there, we'd hope to get another score. But hopefully the second half will be played better.
Are the Penguins doing anything defensively you didn't anticipate?
No, they're fine. They're a good football team. They're scrambling and they get to things, and we haven't reacted well to it.
Thanks. Good luck in the second half, Coach. Coach Tubby Raymond, one update for you on standout linebacker Larry McSeed, guys. He has a separated shoulder, and there is a good possibility, however, he will play in the second half. So we'll update that for you. I guess if we see him out in the field, then we'll know that he's okay. But we'll keep an eye on him and everything else that's going on. Guys, back up to you.
Okay, thanks. We'll talk to you a little bit later during halftime. The first half ends as the Penguins miss a 32-yard field goal. They trail 10-0 at intermission. Bounces off the inside and away rather than through. Here's a look, and Dick, Penguins lead in total yardage, but couple special teams mistakes really hurting them. They also fumbled down in the red zone once. This is another new guy returning a kickoff, Brian Cottam, replacing Tom Palucci, and he takes the ball out to the 31-yard line to start the second half for the Penguins.
Hopefully in the second half. Boy, I think, Ron Jaworski may hit it right on the head. Just come out and maybe put that ball up in the air a little bit and see what happens with it. The middle's wide open on those post patterns to the tight end.
I asked about that during the week. I looked at some tape of Delaware's game against Boston U, and when the game was close, Boston U seemed to find all kinds of room to throw underneath. Jake Andriadis running the ball up the middle, gets a couple perhaps. Penguins starting from the 31. First down. Once again, Jake Andriadis is a freshman making his collegiate debut here tonight. He's been switched from defensive back to play tailback for the Penguins. And in the first half, Andriadis had 42 yards on 14 carries. And he got about a yard on that is all they're going to get him.
Well, Jim, I don't know if they're keeping stats on tackles, but Ralph D'Angelo for Delaware in the middle has just played an outstanding football game here.
He was their leader on the season coming in. That's Jake Smallfield moving off the wing into the slot left. Mark Cox outside him. William Walker up at the top of the screen. Play action. Brungard with time. Throws it out to Nakia Hendricks. 35, 40. Nakia might have had the first down if he'd have just put his head down and barreled into the defender, but instead the Penguins will come up a little over, almost 2 yards short. That for Nakia Hendricks, his third pass reception of the season.
Well, Hendricks came out of the backfield here. He's the fullback. Came out into the flats. Delaware backed out in a deep zone looking for the long pass, and then Hendricks came up on the sideline there. This is about a third down and about a yard and a half here. And Delaware's played well off that defensive right side. We're lined up with double tight ends.
Mike D'Angelo has 8 tackles on the day. Nakia Hendricks gets the ball and spins over the right side of the line out to the 43-yard line. And I know that's only about a 4.5-yard gain, but that may be the best run Nakia Hendricks has made all season. It was a real hard-working effort.
But, Jim, he's done a good job of blocking this afternoon. That time it was a good block on the part of Steve Six, the offensive center. You see him come up inside. Heath Jordan, number 72, provides a block. But, the greatest part of that was done by Hendricks to keep his feet moving.
This is a YSU team definitely showing signs of retooling to get the season headed in the right direction. New tailback. We're seeing a new wide receiver. We're seeing we're seeing changes in the kick game. Quick throw to Jake Smallfield at midfield. And by the time 3 defenders sandwich him, he's got a first down at the Delaware 36-yard line. Jake with 2 catches today to double his total for the season.
Well, Jim, I think Penguins went in and said, hey, wait a minute, man. We played good football in this first half. We can play with these people. It's just a quick look-in pass. The linebacker stepped up to stop the run. And, of course, there's number 58, D'Angelo, downfield, making the final hit on the play.
Mark Brungard now 9 for 14 on the day through the air. First down Penguins at the Delaware 36. There's Andriadis. Oh, just tripped up as he hit the hole. I thought I was just getting ready to make a big call on that because it looked like he was going to have some daylight, but somebody submarine in underneath. I think it might have been John Shields, number 52.
Mark Andrew, 55. Right. Mark Andrew came across from his, he's the defensive left tackle, and as Andriadis went up through the hole, he got both arms on it. It was a real fine tackle.
Instead of a big gain, it's a 1-yard gain, and Brian Cottam has checked in at tailback, replacing Jake Andriadis. 2nd and 9 at the Delaware 35. Mark Brungard perhaps audibleizing here at the line of scrimmage. Gives it to Cotton. Little cutback at the line of scrimmage and gets about a yard. Penguins will be 3rd and 8 coming up.
That was Mark Hunter, number 55, again doing a real nice job on the defensive line. Mark Spinella, also number 63 for Delaware, has played a real fine, played a good first half. There's a picture of Andrew here. And right up inside, slides across from his defensive tackle position and makes the play.
Did a good job sliding down the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and a long 8 for the Penguins just inside the Delaware 35. Tim Terrell switching sides to set up as the tight end on the left. 2 wideouts to the top of the screen. Mark Brungard with the straight drop. Decent protection. Thrown too high and intercepted. At the 25, Mark Brungard may be the last guy with a chance to make a tackle. He does not. And another big play goes against the Penguins. There is a penalty marker down back at the 42-yard line of the Blue Hens. If it's against YSU, it's a 75-yard interception return for a touchdown. If it's against Delaware, the interception will come back. They're calling it a touchdown. Mark threw off his front foot, threw it too high for his intended receiver. The ball picked off by Kenny Bailey, his first interception of the year, and returned for a touchdown and another major turn of events for the Penguins. An offensive mistake stops a drive.
But Brungard will step back here. Walker was knocked down on the play. You'll see him, there he is right there. He's down on the ground. He went down on the play, and then the ball's picked off here, and a good run back for Delaware. That's Kenny Bailey there with the return. Picked up some blocks as he came down the field, and Delaware will set up, kick, and then the Penguins offense will be back on the field again.
The conversion is good, so Delaware, even though it has not yet scored a touchdown with its offense, now enjoys a 17-point lead on the Penguins, who continue to create their own problems, this time with a turnover return for a touchdown. It's the 2nd time in 2 games they've had a turnover return for a score. 11:27 to go, 3rd quarter. Penguins trail 17-0. Uncomfortable with a 17-0 lead early in the 3rd quarter. 75-yard interception return for a touchdown by Kenny Bailey. The 3rd time this season that the Blue Hens have returned an interception for a score. Tom Palucci with the kickoff at the 5. Oh, great hit right at the 20-yard line. What a pop. And the guy that did the hitting may have gotten himself shaken up. Darryl George, a backup defensive back, free safety, making the hit on Tom Palucci.
Excellent coverage. Excellent coverage on a kickoff here. George will come right down from the, he was lined up on the far left side of the field.
And he's having some problems getting off the field, even with help. So the Penguins will take over right at the 20-yard line. And now Mr. George is actually down. You can see there Jim Tressel looking over his playlist. And the play they need to circle on that sheet is the one that says, don't turn it over. That is, for a team that has prided itself on being among the nation's leaders in turnover margin, the Penguins are really struggling in that department this season, and we don't wish to emphasize the negative, but merely point out, I guess, the obvious. Here's another look at how Darryl George was injured.
He twisted his foot. His foot got twisted under as he came down. It was his foot that twisted his knee. He came in, he made the good hit, but his right foot got caught under there on the grass.
Yeah, and you can see that's what they're flexing. Now they're going to check the knee and the calf area. And boy, it's tough. You like, when you make a stick like that, you like to leave the other guy hurting a little bit. But
as he went down, he just, I don't know if that foot slipped out from under, but he landed right on it. You know, his knee got folded back underneath. And just, it's tough, just a tough play there.
They continue to work on that leg. And while there is a timeout on the field to attend to the injured player, we will pause. 11:05 to go, 3rd quarter. Penguins down 17-0. Delaware's cheerleaders hooping it up a little bit. They've got a 17-0 lead and a big crowd to cheer with in 2 and 4 as the Penguins come out 1st and 10 at their own 20. Not quite 4 minutes into the second half. Mark Brungard wants to go up top. Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage and caught by William Walker. It was nearly intercepted, and Walker dives back to the ball and makes the catch at the 31-yard line. The Penguins finally get a tip to go their way.
Well, Walker was flanked out that time, and actually he was in a crossing pattern. He had come down the field and then broke across the middle here. And as Mark releases the ball, and this is one of the things that Delaware has done all afternoon, is to get their hands up. Their linemen get their hands up real well.
That was Ralph D'Angelo trying to pick the pass in the secondary after it had been deflected. 1st and 10 from the 31. And number 32, Nakia Hendricks, gets the football for a gain of perhaps 2. 2nd and 8 coming up.
And defensively, their front four just slides along the line of scrimmage. They're moving laterally well. Coach Tressel there talking over the strategy. The offensive crew, quite a bit of encouragement as they came off the field there. One of the most positive coaches that I've ever met in my life. An outstanding coach.
Delaware's staff trying to get some positive reinforcement for its troops as the Penguins come up 2nd and 8 from their own 33-yard line. Brungard with the play action fake to Nakia Hendricks. He's going to air it out for William Walker. Double coverage, ball overthrown. Feet got tangled at the 25. And incidental contact is the ruling. Darrell Green was back there on the coverage along with Jenny Bell. So it'll be 3rd and 8 for the Penguins.
But they didn't. I don't believe either defender or receiver had an opportunity to catch that ball. Talking this morning with the coaches there, the idea was to try to get the ball out there to Walker, and they got their feet tangled up. The ball was thrown over there.
And actually, William initiated that contact as much as anything, trying to catch up to the football. 3rd and 8, Jake Smallfield in motion. Guard against the pressure, throws the middle screen to Jake Andriadis, who will be stopped short of the 1st down at the 37-yard line. Penguins will have to punt it away, and it is Tim Drzlinski who is coming out for his 2nd try of the day. The Delaware defense gets a hand.
Well, that's 3 and out. The Penguins didn't want to do that in that situation there. Hopefully that Drzlinski will get a punt out here. So far we're 0 for 3. We're averaging about 25 yards a punt with a 2.5-second hang time, and that doesn't cut it.
Snap a little low, no rush, no problem. This one, Tim drives. This is going to send Conti back to the 21. Looking for blocking, got a great double block, another one there, but hanging on to make the tackle, Nathan Toy from South Range High School, stopping Conti after a pretty nifty return. It's only going to net about 7 yards, but he showed how dangerous he can be the last time he caught one. Timeout on the field. Delaware getting the football with 9:01 to go in the 3rd quarter and sitting 17-0 lead. See the signal. Nobody let him play.
Go ahead. Right here he is.
I know when we left you, the Penguins had just punted the ball away, but there was a penalty flag that escaped everybody's attention. It was against Delaware, gave the Penguins a 1st down, and they have just made a 7-yard pass completion between Mark Brungard and Nakia Hendricks. Now Jake Andriadis gets the football and almost breaks one. An ankle stop there by Jeff Gardner, linebacker, tripping Andriadis up, and the Penguins have themselves a 1st down in Delaware territory.
Well, Jim, the only thing better than the 4.3-second hang time by Drzlinski on the punt was the fact that there was a 5-yard penalty. This is Andriadis coming off tackle off that right side. It looks like the Delaware defensive line is getting just a little bit tired. They've been out there a long time today.
Well, the Penguins have physically done a job on offense. They just have not been able to convert it into any points. And there's another fumble on the center exchange. Penguins covered that ball. Don't know who will be credited with the recovery. Down there at the bottom, Mark Tondrew was creating some havoc. Darrell George, the man who was injured tackling Tom Palucci on the kickoff return earlier. That was just a missed exchange. Nothing complicated about that. At any rate, we're told that Darrell George sprained an ankle, will not be back in the ball game. Penguins lose maybe the length of the football on that. 2nd and 10. Run guard, sideline route, Walker bumping. We're going to have a penalty flag at the 16-yard line.
Defensive interference.
That has to be.
That has to be.
It was shoulder-to-shoulder coverage over there, but you're right, it has to be on Dale Koshalski.
Brungard did a nice job there. That the Blue Hens came up in a blitz situation, marked automatic to the outside, and that's against blitz coverage. They're man-to-man coverage there. Walker's on the outside with an opportunity there.
Let me correct that. It was Paul Williams, number 4, not number 40.
Excellent call. The Penguins have
defensive pass interference, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now, the Delaware fans don't like that, and I guess if I were a Blue Hen fan, I could understand that. But it was pretty obvious that Williams was nudging.
Coach Raymond's concerned right at this point in time in this ballgame. The Penguins have played well today.
Andreatis again, stacked up as he crosses the line of scrimmage. He'll get a yard. 2nd and 9 from the 21. Let's check a couple of other scores from around the country as you look again at Jim Tressel. Ohio State now trailing Penn State early in the 4th quarter, 25-21. Michigan holding off apparently a legitimate Northwestern team by a 13-6 count in the 3rd quarter. Again, as you look at the Delaware defense doing its job there. The Notre Dame-Washington game will be starting in a little while. A couple other Big Ten scores. Iowa leads Michigan State 14-7 in the 3rd quarter. Illinois and Indiana are 10-10 at the half. Nationally ranked Montana beating up on Weber State 21-0, and they're still in the 1st quarter. That's a 1AA score, obviously. Mark Brungard, quick throw. He threw it behind William Walker, who had broken in a little bit, and it looked like Mark was expecting him to either come back or break out. It'll be 3rd and 9.
On the outside that time, Bracey came loose in the secondary. The Penguins set up in a trips formation left with Walker flanked out to the right, and it was just a quick hitch pattern. He's so quick. They're just trying to get the ball to him one-on-one and let him do his thing with it.
A couple other future YSU opponents. Illinois State scoreless with Southern Illinois in the 1st quarter. Indiana State trailing Southwest Missouri 3-0 in the 1st quarter. 3rd and 9 for the Penguins. There's the quick throw. Darnell Bracey has it go right off his hands. First time we've seen Darnell today. It was an easy catch, and he didn't make it. 4th and 9.
Well, we're going to have another field goal attempt. It'll be Paul Massaro coming out for the Penguins here. Ball just thrown a little bit behind. A little too much pressure on Marshall.
Paul Massaro, who missed a 32-yarder at the end of the 1st half as it bounced off the right upright, will be attempting a 37-yard field goal here. Snap a little low. Brungard handles it. Kick is on the way. Missed it. Off to the left. Hooked it. 1 for 7 in field goal kicking this season. That one had the range for the distance, but not the direction, as was the case with his first one. And the Penguins remain shut out.
But Jim, that's a tough break again. The offense got the ball into the field goal position and not able to capitalize, and that's about 4 opportunities down there this afternoon.
So Delaware taking over at the 6:34 mark of the 3rd quarter at the 21-yard line. Straight ahead, Kai Hebron, fullback, who hasn't seen much action today. Hebron is a dangerous runner, averaging almost 6 yards a carry. He has a 54-yard run this year, but he has not handled the football very much today.
Leon Jones, All-American linebacker candidate for the Penguins there on the tackle that time. You'll see Leon come from his linebacker position on the right side. Number 50 makes contact right there.
There's the handoff straight ahead with all that misdirection and confusion. Again, it was Hebron, no gain. And I think it's going to be that kind of day because I think my pen's running out of ink.
Well, I tell you, you know, again, just going back to what Coach Stoops said before the ball game here, is the Penguins need to shut the middle down, and overall they've done an excellent job of that today, which has forced Delaware now to go into their the 6th hole, which is the off-tackle hole, and they haven't been successful there. Now we're in the throw game.
Good pressure. Hamlet steps up. Paul Kahn had him. He got away, but he was chased down from behind. Short of the first down. Believe it was Jermaine Hopkins. No, I think it was J.T. Del Garbino that got him.
Excellent job defensively on the part of the Penguins. He'll drop back inside. Now Paul Kahn will come off of this block, throws it, makes the initial hit, and then Del Garbino comes across and finishes it off.
So Delaware punting after a 3-and-out.
The Penguins have 10 up on the line of scrimmage so far this afternoon. Truthfully, Delaware's done a nice job of, getting rid of the football here. And it looks like they're going to come after the block.
They were a man short for a while. They've had trouble getting the right number of people on the field.
Yep.
Good rush. Line drive taken by Teague at the 40, hit at the 45, and dropped right there.
Well, Delaware in the kick game has done an outstanding job today. Again, that ball wasn't in the air very long, but they got down there under the coverage, did a real fine job.
Well, the Penguins only let Delaware have the ball for 1 minute and 47 seconds, and when you're down 17 points, you like to see your defense do that. A couple other scores of interest out of the Mid-American Conference. Miami leading Bowling Green 14-0 early in the second half. Western Michigan leading Akron by only 7-0 at the half, and Kent is getting hammered at South Carolina 42-0. Their defense is in shreds after the way they played so well against YSU. Jake Andriadis with nowhere to run, and Delaware wrapping him up for a loss of about a half yard, coming up to make the final determination on that play. Outside linebacker Jeff Gardner, number 46. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Well, Andriadis got flushed outside. It was scheduled to be a trap in the 6 hole. That's off the right side. As he went into the 6 hole, it was blocked up. Good job on the part of that defensive front for Delaware.
Our old friends at Georgia Southern are scoreless this afternoon early in the second quarter against Western Carolina. 2nd and 10 for the Penguins. They're at their own 45. Andriadis fakes the counter. They give it to William Walker on the end around. This play went for 52 yards at Kent. Walker is bumped out in Delaware territory at the 49. Very close to a late hit, but no flag. Gain of 6, 3rd and 4 coming up.
Walker's the key man for the Penguins as a receiver. He has the speed to get the job done here. He'll come back around now. Here you see Matt Hogg, number 66, pulling in the opposite direction. That's an influence block. Here comes Walker around the outside and then makes a decent move. This is critical 3rd down. Penguins need to do something here. They need to pick up that 1st down.
We were only 2 of 8 on 3rd down conversions in the first half. William Walker in motion. Fake to Andriadis. Brungard on the rollout under pressure. Finds Jake. Small field. Good catch by Jake. Takes it to the Delaware 35 and a 1st down.
Jim Smallfield's done a nice job this afternoon. That time he lined up on the tight end on the left side. He's on a drag pattern. Brungard was able to, he's quick enough to get outside of that defensive end. Here he is. He's being pursued here, and an excellent job there of getting on the outside. Nice throw. Excellent catch.
Mike Berge was the rush guy, number 90, a freshman out of New Columbia, Pennsylvania.
Now we need to go right at the end zone here.
1st and 10 Penguins, Delaware 35, 3.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. Penguins looking to break a long scoring drought. This is Brian Cottom bouncing outside, hit hard at the 31-yard line, gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
The lateral movement out of the linebackers for Delaware. That time it was Jeff Gardner coming across from his linebacker position, doing a nice job there. And they move, Jim, they move laterally real well. They're not a penetrating defense. They're a college 4-3, and with the double corners and the 2 safeties. Zone defense in the secondary.
Second and 6. One thing we haven't talked much about today is Delaware's great team speed. They have a dozen players who have 40-yard dash times under 4.6. William Walker, the player in motion. Quick handoff to Cottom. There's a good hole there, but again, I think down underneath it was Mark Honder who stuck a ham hock out and hit Brian Cottom around the shin, knocked him off balance, and he tumbled forward about 2 yards short of the first down at the 27.
Well, we're in, again, a short system, and I'm sure here the Penguins will not attempt a field goal if this comes down to a fourth down situation. I would look for, the trap or a Brungard keep. They're in the I formation. Look for a power off the right side here.
Wide receivers are Walker and Cox. Ball given to Nakia Hendricks, and he bounces over the right side through a nice hole down to the 21-yard line, and a YSU first down. Nakia looking debut at fullback today.
Yeah, but he has. He's done a nice job today. He ran in behind Jim Jones, the offensive tackle on the right side there, and just hit a little bit of a seam. Heath Jordan tied up the linebacker there, and again, Jones came out with a little block from Smallfield there. Good job.
Here again, Delaware had some legitimate concerns about whether it could Penguins physically up front. The Penguins were confident that Delaware hadn't seen anybody who could run the ball off tackle like the Penguins are capable. And those two have come true somewhat today. It has been mistakes that have left the Penguins offense in the hole it finds itself now. There's another, I'll call it a 6-yard gain for Brian Cottom over the right side. You take away a 75-yard pass interception return for a touchdown and a 67-yard punt return for a touchdown. The Penguins are trailing only 3-0, even if you forget about the mistakes they've made on offense. A couple of fumbles and what have you.
Double tight end. Brian Terleski's in for the Penguins on the last play. Great block by Matt Hogg, number 66.
Second and 4. Cottom cuts back in the hole. He will be just short of a first down, I think. Ryan, another freshman, and if there is another silver lining in what has so far been a bit of a dark cloud in the Penguins' 1-3 start, you look at all the freshmen and sophomores who are getting full-time game experience this year, and this is kind of how you reload a dynasty, not rebuild it, reload it. All these guys are going to be very experienced 4th and 5th year seniors when their time comes. This will be a much better football team in 1996, regardless of what happens in 1995. 3rd and 1. Brungard with that dive over the top. Looks like they're going to mark it out, which would be a first down.
Just in reference to reloading the dynasty, last year the Penguins graduated 25 seniors. This year they have 14. Looks like we're going to call for a measurement here, and I would say we made it where that's tight.
That's going to be really
maybe
close.
Maybe an inch and a half.
It's not going to be a factor if they didn't, because they'll be going for it.
They're short by an inch and a half.
Wow.
They're short by an inch and a half.
4th and inches for the Penguins, and they obviously will be going for it. 7 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, and in fact, I think they're going to start the clock. Mark Brungard will remain on the sideline with Coach Tressel, and this 4th down conversion attempt will come on the first play of the 4th quarter as the Delaware bench gears up for what could be, I don't want to say the key play of this game, but if the Penguins get in here, maybe this thing will turn around. They've got a shot. They're down in the red zone. We'll be back with a 4th down conversion attempt by the Penguins as we head into the 4th quarter on TV 27.
Where the line has to stand up and make a move.
As we return, the Delaware fans on their feet, exhorting their defensive unit, which is in a 4th and inches situation. The Penguins down just outside the 11-yard line. Penguins have the ball 20 plays to only 3 for Delaware in the third quarter, yet Delaware scored the only points on an interception return. Penguins. Nakia Hendricks hit at the line of scrimmage, drove forward. Boy, that spot does not look good to me.
Tough spot.
Play took a long time to develop, too. We're going to get another measurement. Well, this is the 4th or 5th time the Penguins have been down knocking on the door. I think he actually lost yardage there the way they look.
It's tight.
Delaware already, of course, signaling that they didn't get it. I think the ball's farther back than it was when they started that play.
Made it. Oh, man.
Well, they misspotted one or the other, but the Penguins make it by as much as they missed it last time, and it was actually Brian Cottom going into the hole. I thought it was Nakia Hendricks, but it was Brian Cottom, and he gets the first down.
So the referee came in to decide. They definitely spotted where his knee went down. They didn't give him the shoulder forward motion at all on that play. Well, the Penguins have an opportunity to put it in here.
Penguins have now converted 4 fourth downs this season. 1st and 10 from the 11. A score here with most of the fourth quarter to go changes the complexion of the game. Brungard looking for Walker in the end zone. Touchdown!
Beautiful job.
What a catch by William Walker, and good coverage over there by Derek Underwood. The Penguins break a long touchdown drought that extended 7 quarters back through the McNeese game and into this ball game. They score on an 11-yard touchdown pass as Mark Brungard threads the needle to William Walker, and he actually had to wait. I think William turned a little late. See how he double clutched?
He'll land out of the end zone, I believe, here. He goes up in the air here, catches the ball. Nope, he
got a foot down.
That's awesome.
Penguins are on the board, and it is a 17-6 game with Paul Massaro on to attempt the extra point. Massaro's first conversion attempt of the season. Penguins have managed to kick a football through the uprights today. That one scores 1, and they've closed the gap to 10 by scoring the first offensive touchdown of the day. A somewhat amazing statistic when you consider Delaware's offense. We'll be back. Penguins kicking off, trailing by 10. Penguins get on the board, their first touchdown in a long time between not scoring at McNeese and having an off week. Mark Brungard, 11 yards to William Walker to close out a 55-yard, 11-play drive that used 5 minutes. Kickoff by the Penguins taken at the 2. Good return, but a nice tackle right down low around the ankles. Dwayne Thompson, I think, made the tackle, and he is shaken up. The return man was Pat Williams, who averages 20 yards a return, and that's almost exactly what he got. Keep in mind that Dwayne Thompson injured some ribs at Kent State, and he is still feeling the effects of that. By the way, Kent State losing to South Carolina 70-0 in the third quarter. Ouch.
That's a tough afternoon.
Their defense has absolutely caved.
Yep. That's a tough afternoon. Well, Penguins defense is back on the field, and we know one thing for sure. They're fresh. We need 3 and out again.
Hamlet keeps the ball off the misdirection, got a blocker in front, breaks it, and Tony Panunzio stays with him, hauling Hamlet down out at the 42-yard line. Boy, they executed that about as well as you can. They had blue shirts in front of Hamlet. He had a personal escort that time.
But, Jim, you have a man-on-man. Baptiste misses him right here. Watch. Right over top of him. Baptiste is the linebacker on the outside. He was on a stunt. His responsibility is to pick up the quarterback. He came right down inside so quick that he got there just a little bit too quick. Right over top of him.
20-yard gain. Kai Hebron was the personal escort for Hamlet on that play.
Now, that was an excellent defensive call.
Play action. Hamlet throws. That ball skipped in. Yep. Incomplete. Trying to find his favorite receiver, Courtney Batts, who has been quiet today. Came in with 19 catches, averaging almost 22.5 yards a catch, 3 touchdowns. He caught a ball in the first quarter, and I don't recall him catching another one.
No, well, the Penguins have applied plenty of pressure this afternoon. The up front four have done an outstanding job.
Ohio State continues to trail Penn State 25-21 late in that ball game, leading Northwestern 13-9 as they go to the fourth quarter. 2nd and 10 for Delaware. More play action. Hit the seam with Conti. Eddie Conti making the sliding catch in Penguins territory at the 47.
Well, that was a quick slant inside. The defensive back on the outside missed the split in as he came down. We're supposed to check him. You can't let him slide down inside that quick. Right here, we missed the pressure on that split in. He just came right down in there on the quick slant.
1st and 10 at the Penguins 47 after the 11-yard gain. Still plenty of time to go. 13.5 minutes with the Penguins trailing by 10. Hamlet will keep. Jethro misses a diving tackle. Hamlet cuts inside Tony Panunzio. Is knocked down by Dwayne Thompson, who's shaken up again, and there's a penalty flag down at the 26-yard line. This one's going to go against Delaware. They're going to get most of that, or enough of that gain, I think, still perhaps to have a first down.
You see Hamlet here. He'll make his, he reverse pivots out, fakes to his fullback. Got a holding call right there on Jermaine. They're holding him right there. Comes out inside, and they didn't call that.
They
one.
didn't call that because the penalty is much farther upfield, down at the 26. And they'll mark it from there. That'll take the ball back to the 36, and it will be a first down.
Enough yardage this game for first down. First down.
So Delaware doing here in the fourth quarter, when it needs to chew up some clock as much as it needs points, doing what it couldn't do in the third quarter when it had the ball. Only 3 offensive snaps. The Penguins dominated the quarter, but did not score in the third, getting a touchdown early in the fourth. There's that counter play. Coleman dragged down by Mike Gilligan inside the 25, and another Delaware first down. This is that long time they had on the sideline in the third quarter. They put to good use.
Well, they ended up with a split end and a flanker back to the right side. They had motion going to the right, and then the counter inside. You'll see Hamlet roll to his right, and it's an inside handoff. And a great block on the outside. That's number 74 there. Chris Kumpon,
left tackle. Pat Williams takes a pretty good pop as he crosses the line of scrimmage to the 22, gain of 1.
Jermaine Hopkins there, and Andre Jethro was he was double teamed on that play. What they do a lot of times on their offensively on the blocking with the middle guard is they'll take the center and the guard, and they double down on number 40 there, Andre Jethro.
Penguins trailing 17-7. They've outgained Delaware by more than 100 yards, counting this drive by Delaware. Hamlet keeps it, has to step up under pressure, throws into the middle, caught, broken tackle, but again, the slippery field is costly as Conti goes down as he tries to make a cut, but Delaware will be 1st and goal at the 9.
Well, that was an excellent job. As we talked about Hamlet at the start of the ball game here, he'll start. He looks like he's going to run the ball, and then he stops just short of the line of scrimmage and fires that thing in there.
Tony Panunzio grabbed air as he tried to grab Conti, but fortunately Delaware done in by its own field conditions. Well, the field looks terrific, and it feels terrific underfoot, but obviously there's enough moisture on it that it's giving everybody problems. 1st and goal, Delaware.
Option.
Hamlet, late pitch. This is 6. Touchdown, Pat Williams.
Well, counting for the pitch man on that play. When they run the option, someone has to have the fullback, the quarterback, and the pitch man. They covered the first 2, missed the last one. Here it is. Now here comes the pressure on the quarterback. He goes up inside and then pitches the ball. Responsibility on the outside goes to the halfback. Defensive back has to come up and make that play.
Well, that takes some of the steam out of the Penguins' momentum for certain. Gives Delaware a more comfortable cushion. As Sean Leach adds the conversion, and Delaware has, in a clutch situation, reestablished its 17-point margin, scoring with its offense for the first time today. 11:21 to play. It's now Delaware 24, YSU 7. Delaware crowd today now feeling a little more secure. Its offense has produced, leading 24-7. Ohio State has rallied to beat Penn State 28-25. That may take the Nittany Lions out of the Big Ten title chase. Jabari Teague taking the short kickoff at the 8. Hit at the 22, spins to the 25. Coming down the pop for the Blue Hens was Sean Lenz.
Jim, they've done an excellent job all afternoon on the kick coverage game. Lenz came straight down. He was lined up on the right side. He'll come right down through here. Here comes Sean Lenz right there. And he's got his head in front of the ball carrier. It makes an excellent hit.
Another reminder, this free telecast is for private use of WKBN TV 27 viewers. Any reproduction or other broadcast or paid admission for this telecast is forbidden without the permission of WKBN Broadcasting Corporation. The exclusive rights for this telecast are the property of WKBN TV as contracted with Youngstown State University. Darnell Bracey taking in the throw from Mark Brungard for a short gain out to about the 30-yard line. Darnell, there was some question about Darnell's availability for a while for this game because he injured a knee at McNeese on a tip pass play that went against the Penguins, turned into an interception in the end zone. 16,459 on hand for today's ball game. So Dick, you and I put close. Yeah, we put a pretty good hit on this thing. Brungard pumps once under pressure, throws it up and away. He had Jake Andriadis and William Walker out in that neck of the woods, but he got tremendous heat from Mark Spinelli, the defensive tackle.
Yes, Spinelli came in there. He's the defensive tackle on that left side and just did an excellent job of applying pressure. Mark did a good job of getting rid of the ball.
3rd and 5 coming up for the Penguins. Just over 10.5 minutes to play. Delaware back with a 17-point lead. Darnell Bracey off the bottom of your screen. Receiver flanked inside him is Jake Smallfield, the man in motion. Brungard over the middle. Leaping catch, Jake Smallfield. He's made some dandies, and he fights his way out to the 44-yard line. Jake Smallfield is back, folks. Every time he has caught the ball today, he has taken a pop. He has churned hard, fought hard, and that is a tremendous additional weapon to the offense.
Well, Jim, Smallfield 6'4", he's able to go down inside, come in behind the linebackers is exactly what he's doing. They start the little motion with him, bring him down inside the linebackers, and then just go up over top of them and catch the ball.
1st and 10 Penguins at their own 43. Brungard, quick throw out. William Walker has it. Hit immediately. Tuck the ball in, William.
Yes, please.
He had it out there, and there was help coming fast for Darrell Green. Green and help managing to spin Walker out at the 49 for a gain of 6.
That is not a loaf of bread we're dealing with. Those footballs are expensive. We need to hang on to them. You'll see
they've been costly at times.
You see Brungard step into the pocket and just drill it. He's drilling a little out pattern there. That's a good job. Walker's just trying his best to make something out of it.
Paul Williams on the coverage, and Darrell Green over there to spin William Walker out of bounds. Audible here from Mark Brungard on 2nd and 4 from the Penguins' 49. Fake. Spinelli is there. Brungard tried to duck under Spinelli and his offensive guard, Matt Hogg, and couldn't do it. Spinelli flattened them both for a big sack.
Now, I tell you, Jim, Matt Hogg's played a great game this afternoon. Right there, he just had a little more than he could handle. He wasn't able to turn Spinelli to the outside so that Mark could step up inside. Right here, you'll see the pocket form, but then it just kind of collapses right there.
8-yard loss. It leaves the Penguins in a 3rd and 12 situation. Play action to Inglis. Airs it out. He's got William Walker, and it is batted away. Broken up nicely by Dale Koszelski. They have been giving William Walker double coverage all day. dropping back. And William has had a tough time getting his hands on anything thrown long. The Delaware defense answers the challenge.
And Tim Kozlowski in the punt for the Penguins. Last time he had a 4.3-second hang time. Run guard back in the pocket. He put that ball out there pretty good that time. It's right on the money. Good defensive play.
Hit as he threw, too. Kozlowski, nice punt. This will drive Conti well back. He might want to leave it alone, but instead over his shoulder at the 8, gets a good block, breaks it to the outside, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, stepped out at the 32. This will come back. Conti thinks he has like a 92-yard punt return for a touchdown, but he stepped out of bounds at the 32, so it'll come back.
Well, the hang time was 4.3. The coverage was not able to get there.
Let's look at it again, and we'll see if this angle
is over-the-shoulder catch. That's a dangerous catch, but he made it.
See if this angle, watch his left foot. He'll break to the outside here. There's the bump that got him on. No, he's right in front of us when he steps out, I think. There it is, his right foot. Good look by the sideline camera. Nice job.
If we had TVs here, they could show the people, and then they wouldn't be upset.
Well, they gave him a big hand anyway. So Delaware gets the ball back with 8:12 left in the game, and now they can sit on
Jermaine Hopkins went on the side to take a break after the chase on that punt return, and Todd Kohler from North Lima South Range High School out on the field right now, and you know, he did a nice job while there at South Range. He's in that 6'5", 270-pound range, and he's an excellent prospect for the Penguins, who are playing again. He's a sophomore, and they're playing a lot of sophomores and freshmen.
He was a heck of a tight end at South Range, in addition to what he did on defense. Delaware with the football. Had a problem on the exchange there. Kai Hebron falls on it. Loss of maybe 2.
Good pressure again upfield by the Penguins front 5, and they've done a nice job this afternoon of applying pressure on this excellent Delaware offense, and it was just an exchange problem there with Hamlet, and there haven't been too many problems in their backfield, especially in this second half.
Hamlet fell on his own fumble, loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Another fumble on the snap. Hamlet throws, ball batted away. Lines up in the hands of an offensive lineman, Steve Archibald. Bring up 3rd and 11. You're doing the same thing I am. They had a different center in there. Brian Cook snapped those first 2 snaps, and they fumbled both of them, and Keith Bullets has already checked back in.
Yeah, I said, wait a minute, let's check out a center here. Because all of a sudden you start having snap problems, and right now we have a 3rd down and 11. The Penguins defense needs to stand up right here. 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go in a ball game.
Brian Cook, who was a redshirt freshman, who made those first 2 snaps. Penalty marker down on the far side of the field as Kai Hebron fights his way out to the 35-yard line. If this is against Delaware, expect the Penguins to decline and get the football back.
Todd Kohler, number 95, was the man on the tackle. He's playing the defensive right tackle for the Penguins. It looks like it's going to go against the Penguins.
It's a face mask call, so the run stopped short of a 1st down. The face mask will give Delaware a 1st down and allow them to keep the football out near the 45-yard line, I would think. Unless it's an incidental, and then it'll only take it to the 40-yard line, and it'll be 4th and about 2.
But Jim, other than, you know, the major miscues, the Penguins have played an outstanding football game here today. You know, they have, they're behind on the scoreboard. It doesn't look good.
On the run, 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run, still 3rd down.
Now, you heard it. Now, wait a minute. How can it still be 3rd down?
That was 4th down.
It should be 4th down because it was after, well, I guess it wasn't a dead ball. Okay. But if there's wait a minute, if there's a 5-yard penalty, and they gave them, they just took the penalty.
Oh, okay.
There we go. That explains it.
Get that straightened out.
Third down. Option fake. Option. First down and lots more. Hamlet into Penguins territory. And a first down at the 44.
Well, Jim, the linebackers have the responsibility of the quarterback. They're supposed to be sitting there. He comes down that line of scrimmage, and the linebackers weren't there on that play. Again, Hamlet, the quarterback that we highlighted at the outset of the ball game. Here it is right here, and that's a good job of blocking. And that's the reason that the linebacker wasn't there.
Catch this, Northwestern leading Michigan 19-13 midway through the fourth quarter. The Wildcats are for real, apparently. Hamlet is, that's for sure. Ball tipped and intercepted or not. Mike Gilligan tipped the pass, and it is intercepted by Eugene Lewis, his second interception of the day and of his collegiate career.
Well, again, the defense stands up, and now you see Hamlet step back in the pocket here. Throws down over that middle just a little bit late. Good job of reacting on the part of the Penguin defense.
Now, the Penguins only have 6 minutes and 28 seconds with which to work, trailing by 17.
Well, they're going to have to throw the 20-yard passes now, Jim. They're going to have to go down a little bit deeper here, and we may see Jake come down inside. He's on out there.
Throw into the middle. Mark Cox with a good catch. The defender right there, and Mark Brungard took a pretty good wallop after he let the ball go, too.
Jim, we talked to young receivers about catching the ball with their hands. This was an excellent example on that play.
And we have a Penguin down farther upfield as well. In the Delaware territory, William Walker reeling at the Delaware 46. Now, Mark Cox is a name that you have not heard much from this season. He's been, I don't want to say pressed into duty, but I imagine he got some extra reps while Darnell Bracey was shaken up, and he's taken advantage of his opportunity today. Timeout on the field. Penguins trying to put something together, trailing by 17. Ground level look at the field here at Delaware Stadium. William Walker, who was shaken up when we left you, jogged off the field under his own power. Penguins 1st and 10 from the 39. Throw out to Mark Cox, makes the catch and is hit immediately by Paul Williams, but again hangs on to the football. The youngster from East Palestine doing a nice job. Penguins will go no huddle as we hit the 6-minute mark.
Well, Mark does a nice job of running this 2-minute offense.
5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5. Penguins at their own 44. Bosco Pearson has checked in. He's right at the bottom of your screen there, flanked out to the right. 2 wide receivers to the top. The slot man is tight end Jake Smallfield. Brungard steps up, not far enough. Mark Hondrew breaks through. Brungard stepped up past Josh Mastrangelo, but Mark Hondrew was right there to pick up the pieces and make the sack back at the 37-yard line.
Well, Ralph D'Angelo for Delaware has played a great ball game here. You see Brungard step back into the pocket. He steps up, and then there's, well, that's 55 there. Mark Hondrew there.
Penalty marker down, pass deflected as it's thrown into the middle. Penguins will be called for holding here. Undoubtedly, it will be declined, bringing up a 4th down.
Well, I see Walker's back in the lineup there. He was assisted by Dr. Duffett, John Denenko, and Dan Waffen.
The offense is fine. What the?
Outstanding medical staff for the Penguins, and they may go for this one. They may just go for it. We're looking at 5:08 on the clock. Up.
Well, here comes the punt team. Eddie Conti will get another opportunity. He has already set a school record today by piling up 114 punt return yards, 67 of those on a touchdown run.
I think Tim Drzelinski has the punting job back. I think he's had 2 outstanding punts here.
Thought about faking it, booted it away anyway. Now Conti calls for a fair catch. It bounces up in front of Leon Jones. And I think it may have hit Leon. I saw a marker thrown back at the 31. That's what they're going to call, even though the ball rolled to the 24. Delaware gets it back. You have to give the Blue Hens credit. The Penguins are making a run at them, and when they had to, both their offense and defense stepped up and kept the Penguins from finishing that run off.
They did it. Drzelinski here, you see him pull the ball down. He steps around, makes a good move, and gets rid of the ball. That's a good job. Excellent job. The Blue Hens sidelines.
So Delaware now in the process of chewing up the clock. Option pitch. Coleman steps over Eugene Lewis, does not escape Leon Jones, who drags him down with help from Dwayne Thompson, who's been banged up all afternoon but continues to battle his way out there. That carry taking the Blue Hens out to the 37-yard line, a gain of 6.
Got Mike Stanek out there forcing the pitch that time, the outstanding freshman linebacker from Fitch High School, and he's going to develop into a great one. Talking to Coach Asher about him this afternoon or this morning, and he really feels this young man is just going to be outstanding.
On the option, Hamlet. The ball's out of bounds in the grasp of Kari Williams, a junior defensive back, out at the 47-yard line and a first down. You know, when you think about it, Dick, the only player on this extremely potent offense that the Penguins have not been able to contain is the quarterback.
Yes.
They've done an excellent job with those two outstanding speedy running backs. They both run the 40 in between 4.4 and 4.5, and they just really not, except for the third quarter when they shut down the Delaware offense and kept it with their own offense.
Counter.
Nobody was nice. Coleman.
And Leon Jones came in over top of it that time. They get the again, they get the misdirection going. The flow starts to the right, and then the counter comes back to the left. Leon followed the play. He's had a couple of times this afternoon that he's gone right by the ball carrier there.
I think Mr. Hamlet, out of the quarterback spot, has rushed for over 100 yards today. That would get him up in the neighborhood of 330 or 340 yards on the season. Came in averaging about 5 yards a carry.
Motion counter.
That's Coleman. Inside the 30 to the 28.
But
fumble. Penguins say they have it. They're trained to do that, of course, but the officials are not going to agree. They're going to call Coleman down. Philip Jean-Baptiste, the last man to touch the football, but after the whistle.
Well, that time the counter came up inside of Kohler. Kohler's he's the defensive tackle. You'll see the play come up on the inside, and then it breaks up through. They pull the guard and the tackle on the back side. That's back when the Washington Redskins were running that little inside sweep, pulling guard and tackle, and they're doing an excellent job with that.
3 minutes left. Hamlet, where Leon Jones just got buried. Late pitch. Hebron, the fullback, dragged down.
Has a fine football team here. You know, they're moving the ball well. They're picking their shots right now, and you know, the breaks that they got early, they didn't have the pressure. They come right here. Good job on the option. Pitch on the outside. They had blockers over there doing a nice job. Excellent move.
Backup fullback Marvell Scott was the guy that leveled Leon Jones, put him on his back. You don't see that very often, and the Penguins have called a timeout on defense here. Delaware driving down at the 13-yard line with a first down and 2:42 to play. Delaware averaging over 38 points a game this season. Of the 24 they have today, only 7 are attributable to their offense. So the Penguins have done a good job, but to Delaware's credit, here in the fourth quarter, they have risen to the challenge and put up 2 time-consuming drives made possible by the fact that their defense was able to contain the Penguins after they got their touchdown early in the fourth quarter.
Well, Jim, probably the majority of their rushing yardage is going to come up here in this fourth quarter as a result of their efforts. Coach Snyder there with the defensive crew.
Why are people passionate about Seinfeld, you may ask? I know you didn't, but I thought you might.
Okay.
It's the show about nothing that's really something, and you can see it Monday through Saturday at 7 o'clock right here on TV 27. And a reminder that we'll be joining our regular programming after this ball game, and then at 6 o'clock tonight, first news at 6. We'll find out what's been going on around the valley and the rest of the world. Rob Schmidt will be along to update you on what else has been going on in the world of sports. I want to thank Rob for his extra efforts last night with the rest of the crew here. He had quite a workload last night on high school football night.
Split end right, tight end left, motion, option.
And let's still with the ball. Almost dropped it, I think, because he looked down and decided that it might be good to stay where he was, because that was the location of the football, and he winds up losing about 4.
Jermaine Hopkins and Philip Jean-Baptiste were out there to make the play on it. They did a good job that time. They got rid of the blockers.
Ball just outside the 15. There's a good look at Leo Hamlet, a 6'1", 200-pound junior. Came in, completing over 55% of his passes. There's the story as we zoomed past the outside wings of the scoreboard, which keep a running yardage total. And Delaware on these 2 drives has closed down the gap in the yardage, but YSU had a huge advantage in offensive yardage coming into the 4th quarter. And these 2 long drives by the Hens have closed that gap. But up until this 4th quarter, the Penguins defense had truly dominated this football game. It disappointed Mark Brungard on the sideline, Mac Gilchrist to his right, Steve Six, his offensive center, off his shoulder to the left of the camera there.
But Jim, I wonder how Grambling made out, or are they playing later tonight? I watched that.
There's a look at rushing yards, and again, somewhat misleading, although YSU hasn't had a ton of rushing yards until the last 2 drives. They've done a good job of keeping Delaware well under its average, still well under its average. They're averaging almost 100 yards more than that a game. That was Norm Coleman being dragged down. YSU calling another timeout, trying to, I think just at this point, you would think, well, you're down 17, you got 2.5 minutes to play. Why call a timeout? Well, the offense has been making some progress today. True, they have stubbed their toe a little bit here in the 4th quarter, but give them a chance to go out there and reestablish some momentum and confidence for themselves as this ball game comes to an end, perhaps.
Well, and knowing what we know about Coach Tressel, he's not going to back away from the opportunity to help his ball club, one, to learn some things, and to continue to fight all the way to the end of a ball game. And again, there's a lot of young Penguins out here on the field today. We have a number of home games coming up, and a great opportunity for them to just do a good job the second half of this season.
I was looking for that Grambling thing here, and I don't see it right off the top. At least it's not on their sheet here. So
it was going to be televised on ESPN, and you know, when a coach goes 54 years,
there it is. Hasn't started yet.
Okay, that takes care of that.
Georgia Southern leading Western Carolina 14-0 at halftime. Kent getting hammered by South Carolina 77-7. Akron hanging with Western Michigan, losing 7-3. That's going to the 4th quarter. Future YSU opponent Illinois State trailing Southern Illinois 7-3 midway through the 2nd quarter. Future YSU opponent Indiana State having a terrific season, leading Southwest Missouri 13-3 now. And that is early in the 2nd quarter. Ohio State has beaten Penn State today. Northwestern continues to lead Michigan in the 4th quarter.
And Southern Illinois is coached by Jim Haycock. That's John Haycock's brother.
There's a throwaway. Don't know what they had called, but the receiver and the quarterback were on different pages. It'll be 4th down.
We had defensive backs back there, and they couldn't quite get to it there. And, you know, Jeff Haycock, the other brother, is a head coach at Muskingum College. And going in today's ball game, he was 4-0, so he's having a real fine season. And he struggled the last couple of years, and it's good to see Jeff have a good year.
Sean Leach with a 37-yard field goal attempt. He had one from about this range for the first score of the game. This one is on the way, and it's good. So Delaware tacks 3 more points on the board for good measure, now leading by 20 with 2:13 to go. It's 27-7. He made it look easy, nice and high and true. The ball does seem to, although there doesn't seem to be much wind, all the balls hit that direction really seem to be hanging a lot.
Yes, they did. Well, there's a slight breeze coming into his face there, but not much at all. It's been a beautiful afternoon here. The sun, I thought the sun might be a problem. We came in here yesterday, the sun was real bright. It would have been right in the face, especially right about now.
Well, the forecast was for clearing skies this afternoon. They are, I don't know if you can faintly hear it in the background, they're ringing the victory bell here. There you can see it.
Well, this is a ball game that Delaware was looking forward to. Their kids wanted to get on the field with the defending national champions, and I think overall the Penguins have represented themselves well here this afternoon. They've played a good hard-nosed football game. They've made some key mistakes again, and I think that's what Coach Tressel will talk about in Tuesday.
13-yard line, Jake Andrietis out to the 30. A freshman making his college debut today. He's been very busy and has acquitted himself extremely well.
I'm sure Coach Tressel will talk about that on the show on Sunday evening on WKBN.
Penguin profile at 6:30 tomorrow night. Penguins take over with 2:07 to go, trying to, again, re-establish confidence and momentum. They have moved the ball pretty well today. They've put up over 300 yards in total offense.
And they've held Delaware, which was averaging around 520 yards a game. They had them down under 266 yards.
Brungard throw over the middle, a little high for Jake Smallfield. Right there to make the pop in the back was Dale Koshelski. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Jim Smallfield's done a nice job this afternoon of catching the ball in key situations. That pattern there was, again, Delaware operates out of the too deep zone, just like the Penguins do, and they were just trying to pop it in between them.
Well, Delaware is going to keep a couple of streaks alive in this game. They've looking to go 5-0 at the start of the season for the first time since 1974. We've got a nice unbeaten streak working here at home. Another throw over the middle intended for Smallfield. That one was tipped by Sean Lenz, backup middle linebacker, and falls incomplete.
The linebackers are backing out as fast as the receivers are running forward. They're bailing out of there right now. Of course, they don't have to worry about anything but dropping back.
And we got an update on any critical scores here. And the answer to that is no. Although Northwestern is in the process of upsetting Michigan, leading 19-13 with less than 2 minutes to play in that one.
Northwestern has had an awesome season.
Doing a fine job there. And be no longer 2 in the little 9 or 3 in the little 8. There's a pass incomplete. That was intended for Willis Marshall, and it drilled Paul Williams right in the belly button. I think he got the point of the football right in the solar plexus, knocked the wind out of him, or he fell on it and knocked the wind out of him, I think. Ball was really drilled. At any rate, it's 4th down. Reminder, Penguins are back home next Saturday night, and I think for those of you who have been around for most of this ball game, you will agree that it's well worth your time and effort to have a ticket in your hand on Saturday and come and see the Penguins play the defending Mid-American Conference champion Central Michigan Chippewas. The Penguins have physically, I think, again, as they did at McNeese on defense, and I think they stepped it up a notch today on offense. Physically, they have shown that they're ready to compete. They're back at a competitive level with Division I AA competition, good Division I AA competition. And I would imagine coming off this game, despite what is going to be their 4th loss and extremely dim playoff hopes, they're going to be ready to play the Chippewas, and I would expect them to come out and give Central Michigan all it can handle. And if they, again, same as the situation at McNeese, if they can stop making the mistakes that stop themselves, it's going to be difficult for Central Michigan to stop them.
Yeah, that's, you know, so far today, that was the biggest problem in the first half. I mean, the Penguins should have come in at the half, leading 10-3, or at the worst, 7-3. However, they come in trailing, you know, because of the problems here.
I think it's a hand injury for Paul Williams. Hand or arm injury, may have fallen awkwardly. 4th and 10, Penguins at their own 30. They'll go for it. There's no reason not to, even though it would set Delaware up with great field position. Out of a shotgun-style formation with 4 wideouts, they release the only back. There's the throw. That is caught for the 1st down out across the 40-yard line. That is William Walker making the catch. The 4th down completion.
And Mark Brungard will line them up in the 2-minute offense and just keep moving it. He did this against Kent. He did a real fine job late in the ball game against Kent, calling the plays at the line of scrimmage.
This time Mark has to step up and run. Headed for the sideline and manages to skirt his way around the defender, step across the marker into Delaware territory, and a 1st down at the 45.
And Mark Brungard's an excellent football player and an outstanding individual, representing the community well and the university. Good job on the scramble here.
That stops the clock. Once again, everything Coach Tressel keeps stressing, that even though the Penguins have had some tough going here in the first 5 games of the season, he says these guys will never stop coming at you. They never stop playing. Throw to Bosco Pearson, his first catch of the day, and as we have seen so many guys do today, as he tries to make a cut, he slips and falls. Ball marked at the 39, gain of 6.
Yeah, the field's just a little bit moist. It's not real wet, but it's moist, and
it's cut short, too. I was surprised when I walked on it yesterday. It looked more lush. It's cut short. Nice field, though. There's no problem with the field. There's a throw down into the middle. That is incomplete. They're ruling that skipped into the hands of the defender, Darrell Green. That would have been his 4th pick of the season had he been able to get it cleanly.
He did a good job of acting. It's going down inside, and the ball bounces off the ground here.
Well, he's seen a couple of his teammates take off running on long, quick turnaround plays, a pass interception and a punt return today, and he wanted to get a piece of the action, I think.
I think all these coaches teach the same thing.
He'd have been tough to catch, too. He's one of those quick guys, a 4.58 40 time, so he can scoot. 3rd down for the Penguins. Run guard, airs it out deep, again double coverage, triple coverage on William Walker, and he makes the catch, touchdown. What a great catch by William Walker. 3 guys right there, and he wound up with the football.
Looks like Paul Massaro's going to get a shot at kicking the extra point. We'll be looking for the onside kick, and the Penguins go up to 382 total yards. 283. Here's the fly pattern, the Hail Mary, if you will.
Look at all those blue jerseys. William Walker winds up with the football.
He got 3 of them right there. He's made a, well, he made the other. He caught the other touchdown. Did an excellent job of getting his left foot down.
Massaro misses the extra point. He hooked it to the left. Well, it's inconsequential with only 50 seconds to play, but these are things that the Penguins will have to take care of. They've missed 2 field goals and now missed an extra point. They've had a couple of very poorly executed punts and a punt return for a touchdown. Special teams, which are something the Penguins pride themselves on, only hopeful run at the playoffs.
And an onside kick. I think we'll see an onside kick. Delaware has their they've got their all-hands team on the field right now. You see all the numbers. You get the 30s and the 20s and the teens.
Well, this is a special teams effort. This is a chance perhaps to redeem themselves. They worked on this a little bit at practice yesterday. Generally yesterday it was the kicking game and just some individual group workouts by position. And we got here a little late yesterday, so they didn't get in everything they wanted to, I don't think, because Delaware practiced after the Penguins and needed the field at a specific time. So the Penguins workout cut a little short yesterday. There's the kick. There's that high bounce they need. It went through Delaware. Penguins diving for the sideline. It may have gone out of bounds. Now there's a penalty. I think we're going to probably get unsportsmanlike conduct. Penguins did the job. They got the high bouncer. It went through a Delaware player's hands. YSU diving for it. May have scored it out of bounds, and we have the penalty marker on top.
It was a perfect kick. It was a perfect kick. I think it'll get tipped. Right,
watch this.
It bounces.
Boom. Touches Delaware.
We bump it.
Corey Scarlato had a hand on it. Willis Marshall had a hand on it. I believe Peter Davila had a hand on it. It wound up out of bounds. The ball belongs to Delaware. There's no question about that. Now we'll have to determine if there's a flag.
No, they picked it up. I didn't see any unnecessary activities. I thought it was just good football over there.
Well, it's a really quick flag, which makes me think, that's why I said maybe unsportsmanlike conduct, that somebody might have said something. Delaware gets the ball at the Penguins' 45 with 49 seconds to go. If you believe all those tips only took 1 second off the clock. They'll come out with a lot of fresh faces and clean uniforms. Keith Langen, a senior at quarterback, gives it off to Marvell Scott. driving, breaks free. He's gone. Unbelievable.
This would be a little frustrating for the Penguins here. This is going to upset the coaching staff here, I'll tell you that. Because this is a completely, this is a backup unit here. This is a backup unit.
Well, that was a good individual effort by Marvell Scott because there was plenty of traffic there. Let's look at it again.
Here he comes. It's a little inside handoff.
There's a hold right there. Peter Davila had his jersey almost ripped off. There's a good crisp block.
You have 3 missed tackles and a good job of running. Excellent job of running.
Well, the holding penalty that wasn't called may have been the key to that touchdown, but there's no crying over spilled milk. It's inconsequential except in the final statistics. This victory is going to look a lot more impressive to the pollsters than it actually is.
No doubt about it here.
As Delaware approaches its seasonal average in scoring, they are now up to 34. They're a little over 38 on the season, but again, through 3 quarters, their offense was shut out. They have come up with 3 critical scores here in the 4th quarter to blunt a Penguins comeback, coming up with a clutch touchdown drive, a clutch drive for a field goal, and then just a breakaway run as time runs out. Marvell Scott with his 2nd touchdown of the year, that a 45-yard run, his longest effort of the season. He came in here, no slouch. He came in here, he'd already gained over 130 yards, 139 in fact, and was averaging 5 yards a carry. He's a senior.
But Jim, overall this afternoon, you have to give a lot of credit to the Delaware program. They've maintained their poise throughout the entire ball game. I thought, early in the game, the Penguins played well. However, the turnovers came up. There's a kickoff return.
Jabari Teague slips and falls at the 23. 10-yard return. .34 seconds to go. Penguins are going to fall to 1-4. I don't have the record book in front of me. Probably should have looked it up before I left, but it's been a long time since the Penguins have gotten out of the gate 1-4.
Well, for sure, the last 5 years, they've done an outstanding job. This is the same fine coaching staff that took this program to 3 national championships, and they'll bring it back again.
Well, I don't think there's any question, and as we've talked about briefly here late in the game, and alluded to earlier, this team is really not that far in many physical aspects, that far away from being 3-2 or 4-1. Brungard under pressure. He'll run it out of there at the 33-yard line. Quite a collision right behind Mark Brungard. Willis Marshall coming up and flattening one of the defenders for Delaware. That was number 69, Kurt Husong, who is...
Mark just scooted out of bounds here to pick up the 1st down. He'll step up inside with blocking there from Frank Page, number 70, who went by the screen a little bit ago.
There's another thing. Ordinarily, in a situation like this, you'd be used to seeing other Penguins who need experience, a DeMond Tidwell or a lot of backup linemen in there. Not so. Penguins keep that number 1 unit in there. Mark Cox with the reception for a 1st down out to the 45. Penguins just keep fighting.
Well, Jim, the offense needs some work, and they're just going to continue to get it. You're running against a good defense, and you run against excellent defense.
Penguins just top
them out and work them.
Penguins just top 400 yards in offense for the game. Pump once, turn, look. Walker slips and falls at the 34, incomplete. You can see the clock. We're going to get 1, maybe 2 snaps. Tim Terrell, the tight end from Ursuline, who didn't play tight end at Ursuline. He was a quarterback there. Checking in, number 17, redshirt sophomore, has made 6 catches this season. Got a little extra playing time and earned a little bit of it during the time that Jake Smallfield and Brian Terleski have been banged up.
This one's going up top to the right side.
This is the Hail Mary deep.
Interference.
William Walker will get called for interference. It's on the offense. Time expires. That is the final play of the football game. And we will I'm sure that'll be waved off. If it's a defensive penalty, obviously the game continues, but it was an obvious push by William Walker. And Delaware will decline the penalty and bring the festivities to an end. Jim Tressel trotting out to meet with Tubby Raymond with a look of frustration on his face, knowing that the Penguins most of today played a lot better than the scoreboard indicates. I think we're going to try and get Coach Tressel here before he leaves the field. And then we will begin to wrap things up for you. A crowd of more than 16,000 on hand here at Delaware Stadium today to see the Blue Hens beat the Penguins 34-13, a score that, again, is a little bit misleading in that physically outplayed the Blues at 3 quarters and really hurt themselves with some key mistakes to fall behind by 17 points and gave up kind of a gift touchdown in the waning moments here after the outcome was really decided. But the Penguins do put up over 400 yards of offense. They hold Delaware to more than 200 yards under its average, and really in many ways came of age today, even though they did not come away with a victory. There you can see a disappointed group of red and white clad Penguins with some dispirited hand slaps to the victorious Blue Hens, who go to 5-0 for the first time since a national championship season in 1974, when they were in Division II at that time. They extend their unbeaten streak to 11 and break a string of 7 consecutive Penguins victories, coming off an open date in their history, going all the way back to a loss to Marshall in 1987. And Delaware now has won 18 of its last 22 home games. Jim Evans is just about ready with Coach Evans. We can see him down there. Jim, take it away.